Hasan町ビデオを見ながら解説を一緒にしてよミムなストリームでね何を待ってるのハサン町今日は何するのはしのを開けてみなキャンバでおる日ね何を待ってるのハサン町前は政治のために来たけど知ったのはくしおいライブ中
おうなんて大きくてセクシーな男なんだハサン
ハサン町
なんて素晴らしいんでしょう
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hasanabi broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one. It's the last day of October. We are entering November. We're entering winter. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Halloween. We're finally putting the Halloween weekend to an end. And my God, has it been a long one for me. I hope you guys have had a fun one at least, though. I've had a relatively fun one, but also a very busy one. And boy, oh boy, do I have a long-ass fucking day full of news today. Yes, I am wearing a sheep onesie. That's true. How hungover are you? Not even remotely, my friend. You thought that I would be out drinking last night at the streamer party? Are you out of your fucking mind? I literally left 15 minutes in. I went there, had a slice of za, had some pizza, and then immediately left. And went to sleep because I was so fucking tired. Woke up early as a motherfucker. Woke up super early. You gonna talk Dolphy murders or what? Okay, I'm banning that guy. Brazucas, don't start with that. Come to Brazil, pal hakada pelo amor de Deus. No, this is a come to Brazil day today. Okay, you can say it. You can say come to Brazil today. This is a day that you're allowed to say. Anyway. So, yeah, not the Zaza, but the pizza is what I had. Okay, listen, folks. After some Valorant victories and Valorant defeats last night, I ended the broadcast and I went and I put on a costume. And I went to a party. I went to a party that Cutie Cinderella was throwing. And saw some friends, and that was a lot of fun. But for me, it was tumultuous. Okay? It was tiring. I was tired. I was really fucking tired. This whole weekend has just like kicked my ass. You know what I mean? Because I'm, unlike many of my peers, I wake up at around 7 every morning and I work out. I wake up at 7 and I go and I work out. Did that on Saturday, went out that night, dying by the end of it. Didn't do that on Sunday, but streamed all day Sunday, as you guys remember. And this morning I was also going to go and work out, which is precisely why I left the party early. And, I woke up early this morning and I worked out, did some leg stuff today, and here we are. This is also the last day of the month of October. So what that means is come tomorrow, my new Twitch contract kicks in. It means we're going to have more ads. And I've been thinking a lot about how to do it, how to serve it. Yeah. For a lot of you, it's probably not going to mean anything because you guys are all fucking subscribers anyway. Okay? Hey, what the fuck? Stay in your lane, Hasan, says Comrade Lamb. Dude, I've been a fucking lamb for a minute. How dare you? For some of you, you know, you're going to have to figure out how to do better ad block, okay? It's just, it is what it is. Okay? Are you shaving your face for November King? No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. Run them when you go to the bathroom or go get your food? Yeah, no, but that's not, no. It doesn't work that way. I can't tell if it's raining or if Austin is just taking a shower right now. It mustn't be raining because it says it's mostly sunny here in California, Los Angeles. So I guess Austin is taking a shower. Why is a streamer do you promote ad block? Isn't that not helping yourself? Lol, no hate, just seems odd. Because I don't give a fuck about you watching ads. I don't want you to watch ads. I have a contractual obligation to run ads, and the density is going to go up a lot. And I'm trying to figure out if I should do it, if I should cut it into two, do 30-minute intervals, or if I should do it in the top of the hour again. I've been talking to Ludwig about it. So the last time when I first came when I first did my negotiation 2 years ago, 2 years and change with Twitch, I knew that Twitch wanted to run more ads. No more ad segues, please. This bitch, 30-month subscriber. Of course, you don't want to see ad segues. But if I do top of the hour, it's going to be 4 minutes of ads. That's the density. Last time I did the contract, they wanted 3 minutes minimum. And I said, fuck no. No shot. Well, you guys have seen the number or the density that everyone else has been showing. They want people to run way more than that. 4 was the minimum. 4 minutes would kill your stream for non-subs. So I don't know if I will. Is there no chance to go to YouTube? No, man. No, there is no chance I will go to YouTube. YouTube's, like Ludwig has talked about this already. YouTube's community functionality is not there yet, okay? You dumb motherfuckers don't understand it. Like, it is worse for you overall. It is a worse experience for you overall. I would go, but it's worse for you overall. The moderation is worse overall. The chat culture is worse overall. There's no fucking actual sense of community overall. Like, you say go to YouTube, but there's nothing there at the time, for the time. If YouTube's chat culture was better, then I would experiment. I would do it. No, don't say there's no chance. You surrender negotiating power. Like, it's yet another instance where, chat is chirping, thinking that they're providing a good solution, when that solution that they're providing hurts them. Be honest, 4 minutes will turn me into a highlights viewer. Love the content, but it would just be too disruptive. So most people already run that. Most people already run longer than that, more than that, as it stands currently. A lot of you are oblivious to this reality because you only watch me. A lot of other content creators are, once again, because I'm the first to always get their contract, I'm the one who takes the fucking fattest L's over and over again. Just like last time when I ran 1 minute of ads, everybody thought I ran the most fucking ads. So I knew that this was going to happen once again. But it doesn't matter. A lot of smaller streamers have already started running 6 to 7 minutes. And I think like the maximum that they're experimenting with is 8, which is so much. People are always going to complain. No matter what happens, it's gonna happen regardless. As they're expected now, Chad is bitching will get over it or buy a membership. Yeah, I think so too. So I saw an 8 stream and it was almost unwatchable. Does 4 minutes of ads mean 4 minutes of ads? Because when I was in a sub 2, a lot of times I would only get 1 or 2, as it wouldn't be a full minute. Yeah. Have you been okay lately, buddy? You seem really agitated lately. I've been tired. I've been kind of sick. I've been tired. It's wild how TV is 16 minutes an hour. How the fuck did I do that for years? No, I know. And no, I don't have the dog shit sub split. No, I don't have the dog shit sub split. Anyway, listen. You're right. I started watching Buddha when you were in your RP phase, and I could not sit through the amount of ads he played. Anyway, listen. Listen. You guys still get paid if we have ad blocker? No, but I don't care. So do your thing. Pre-roll ads are gone, though. At least you will never see a pre-roll ad, if I'm not mistaken, ever again. So there's that. Which is significantly worse than anything else. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people on this platform run ads randomly. They just have an automated ad running system. They have a bot that runs the ads for them. I got a pre-roll in your stream just now. Yeah, this is the last day because I am still on my old contract. So I have 3 different options. Okay? I have 3 different options. Either I just never announce ads ever again. Okay? Here, I'll write it in here right now. Never announce, use a bot. I've been thinking a lot about this. I have 3 options for ads. Okay? Either I just never announce again and I use a bot, which is what like is very common. Okay? Or I announce when the ad is coming. Okay? I announce when the ad is coming and either do that twice an hour, which will feel like it's more than twice an hour because it'll be like literally in the beginning and also at the middle point. Twice an hour, 2 minutes, or once an hour, 4 minutes. On top of that, like, you know how I do the barrier ads? Like, I'll do a bumper ad, a 3-minute ad in the beginning, and a 3-minute ad in the end. I'll probably kick those up as well. And instead of doing like obviously 3 minutes, I'll probably do whatever the max is, like in the beginning of the stream and in the end of the stream. I'll max out so that there is like some leeway in between. You know what I mean? Why is there no ad option? Because I have a contract with Amazon. I'm a contracted exclusive streamer on this platform. Because I love capitalism. I hate socialism. I'm a fake grifter, and I love capitalism. That's the reason. If I don't run the ads, Amazon's going to run them. So no matter what happens, ads are going to be run on this inventory. This is the most socialist streamer. Once an hour, 4 minutes, twice an hour breaks up the flow. I think so too. You want a poll to see to how 5% of the chat that vote feels? Yeah, no, I don't care about that. What if you don't have a contract anymore and people just donate? There's a reason why I'm a streamer and you're watching, okay? We are having a conversation, and I value community feedback, but ultimately, like, you got to understand, there's probably like a thing that you are not comprehending in this circumstance. Okay? Just start a new platform. When you have a hard enough time remembering one ad break an hour, I know. So here's the thing. These are the options, okay? These are the options that we have. Either I just never announce and it like sporadically and randomly serves 4 minutes, 4 minutes of ads an hour randomly throughout the content, but that is incredibly disruptive. I don't know when the fuck that ad is running, okay? I only will find out when people go L ads, and spam it. 3 out of 7, 4 out of 7, oh my God, right? Or I run it myself in the beginning of the hour, and then I announce it, I debate it, I segue it, or I segue once at the top of the hour, and then once in the middle of the hour. I will most likely keep gamifying it because I feel like that is the most the most interactive and fun way to do it. Just don't announce and use the bot. It's a waste of time to announce. Yeah, because you're already subscribed. So you've never seen an ad. So, of course, you're going to say, don't announce it. But, like, let's be real. It's kind of not for you. You know what I mean? Like, this is more so for all the people that are like, well, what the fuck? I just got hit with an ad. Motherfuckers will be like, I've been a 38-month subscriber. Please do not announce when you're running ad breaks. It's like, yeah, no shit. You don't give a fuck. You'll never see the ad. You've never seen an ad for the past 3 years that you've been watching this content. I know that, like, if it were up to some of the subscribers, I'm sure they would say, let's do subscriber only chat. As a matter of fact, it's like, yeah, of course. That would most likely make it easier to monitor the community. That would most likely make it less annoying. But I want to make it so that, like, people that don't fucking see, people that are getting hit in the face with the ads, the ones that are actually seeing the ads, have at least some level. Everyone here knows how to get around ads or a sub. Maybe ask again later. I think 2 times an hour seems like a lot to factor if you... Yeah, a lot to handle if you factor in forgetting and or stun locks. Yeah, I think so. I think I might just do once. And that was Ludwig's take too. Because I've been talking to other content creators about this a lot too. Because I was like trying to figure out like what is the most... And I'm obviously not going to stop. I'm still going to try to figure out ways of like cheating as best as I can. and making it as fun as I can. There's also like ad tech that would obviously make it way more fun if ads were more interactive or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Or less disruptive, one or the other. Neither of which is in my control, obviously. It's still up to the platform to figure out how to do any of that shit. But as far as like what is in my control, you know, interactive ads, yeah. Like you remember how they used to do like those survey ads where you would get bits or whatever? I feel like that's more fun if everyone is using it. And you can probably justify higher CPMs for that too. You know what I mean? Like that's ad tech that's like decent and disruptive, but in a fun way. Because ads are always going to be disruptive. They're always shitty. Why is Twitch this desperate? Because Twitch runs a fuckload of inventory that is unmonetized. I've known that this was going to happen since day one, as I have told you since day one. The original reason why I even got any ads in my original contract was because I knew that they would, if we don't get the ads ourselves, if we don't fucking sign on for ourselves, if we don't do the positive, like the you sure did, buddy. You're so smart. I mean, this is literally what my job was before I became a on-camera person. I did ad tech. I did advertisement operations. I did advertisement sales. So I know what it looks like when you're a fucking company and you have a boatload of inventory and you can justify high CPMs on that inventory and you're just not fulfilling it. All right, buddy? So yeah, it is something that I do know. Not gonna lie, Chief is really hard to take you seriously in a Chicken Little costume. First of all, I'm a sheep, okay? Pussy, you should have fought for 1 minute, glue yourself to the Mona Lisa or something. Yeah, exactly. Where's the round lenses they used to wear? I can't find them. I don't know where they went. I'll find them eventually. I always lose my glass. I have like 4 now. You should still announce it the Gamify, but instead have 1 minute of ad every 15 minutes. That's crazy. I think doing 1 minute, if I'm going to do 1 minute of ad every 50 minutes, I'm going to the bot. I'm letting the bot handle it. That's insane. That would just be, my entire content would just be me announcing ads. Best choice, 4 manual announcements per hour and mandatory black and tans. What if you ran 5 seconds of ads every minute? I don't think there's a 5-second inventory. About 8 minutes every 2 hours? No, man. An 8-minute break is entirely too disruptive. Anyway, all of this is ultimately still subject to change. What do I mean by that? Like, let's say I do 4 minutes of ads and I find that it's too disruptive and people are getting really fucking annoyed and they're leaving because it's like, that's too much. Or let's say I do twice an hour and 2 minutes and people are annoyed by that, or it breaks the content too much, right? Then I could inevitably go to using the bot or some shit like that, or potentially figuring out other ways of announcing it. 4 minutes every hour and you take a pee break. Yeah, we'll see. I want to figure out a way to merge it into the content. I want to figure out a way to merge this into the content. And I will. Eventually. But if your idea is like, ads should be like this, well, yeah, you have wonderful ideas. I agree with you on this, but it's not up to me. It's up to the platform. And once again, for people who are saying, just switch to YouTube, duh. I like YouTube, okay? but you don't know what you want. You don't know what's best for you. Sorry to report this, but you just don't know. YouTube streaming, and there's a reason why Ludwig openly states, unless you get a fat fucking contract from YouTube right now, it's an L to switch over to YouTube. He's right. Worst part is we can't hear you while the ad's running. Yeah, I know. So I'm thinking of ways around it.
Do you really want to know where I was January 6th? You know there's many different ways that you...
Wait, I've never seen this. I didn't like this. Is Austinox accidentally fucking liking shit on my TikTok thinking that, oh my God. This motherfucker is on my TikTok liking people, dude. Liking people's TikToks, brother.
You can kill consciousness. Do you really want...
I've never seen this TikTok, and it's already pre-liked. He controls my TikTok. Changing my fucking algorithm. He's just... .4-minute okay buddy reviews during ads. No, that's not happening. I'm not gonna stop the content completely for that 4-minute duration anyway. That's crazy. Anyway, what if you collab with a smaller content creator to pre-record 4-minute segments so you can run it as an ad break for your audience and pee break for yourself? Wait, what? No, I don't want to stop. Look, guys, that's not happening. Like, I'm not gonna like fucking walk away from the camera. That's not a thing that's gonna happen. Okay? I love you guys for, trying to come up with different unique solutions. But why not host chat off platform and go to YouTube? Once again, you do not understand. That breaks so much. That makes it so much harder to build a fucking robust community. People want ease of access. Why don't I have subscriber only chat? Even though I'm a political content creator, why do I only have a follow only mode on, which we change usually? Do you know why? Because I want to make sure that I can hear from everyone that comes into this community, every unique perspective, right? Sometimes people abuse that and it's fucking annoying, but in most circumstances, that's the entire reason. Now, if I were to do a insulated secondary chat, all of a sudden I'm filtering so many people, and I'm only hearing from people like yourself, people that have been in the community for 10 months, people who are, more invested in the stream, which is great. I mean, I love you guys, but I don't want to just hear from my long-term community members. I don't want to have an insulated community. Okay? There are so many people, including you guys in this chat that originally probably started off as a gray name. Okay? And you didn't think about it. But like, you became a permanent member of the community when you, just like everybody else, initially started out as like a random guy who was probably surprised that they could talk in a fucking 30K chat and have the streamer literally directly respond to you, which is a unique experience for many people. Yeah, with these 8 easy steps and some easily downloadable software, you can become a part of this community. It's like, that sucks. What about running closed captioning on your end as an OBS overlay so people can read what's going on during the ad breaks? I mean, kind of. I already kind of do that. Tattoo one brand's logo on your forehead forever and never run ads. Good one. What is this? Val didn't follow with the Ray Publican meme shaking my head. Oh, God. The hour, 4 minutes of ads is good. It doesn't ruin the current flow of the stream. Yeah, I mean, it's the minimum. It's the minimum allowed. Just like 1 minute was the minimum. And once again, I know that I'll, because I talk about it instead of just doing it without ever fucking discussing it with you, I'll probably get my ass blasted again. But those are the, those are the boundaries. If that's the case, multi-stream on all platforms so you can bring in even more crazy outsiders in. Yeah. Once again, I'll tell you, because you are probably unaware of this, but even though I have an incredibly privileged life, and streaming is not real work omega law, streaming and the way that I do it takes up a lot of your attention. But because it's my hyper focus, I don't have a hard time with it. Now, when I'm hyper focusing on one chat, even then, it's kind of hard to pick up everything that's going on. If I divide multiple chats into YouTube chat and TikTok chat and fucking Twitter chat, I feel like that would make the content worse. So these are the decisions that I've made, and it's not one that I, didn't put a lot of thought or effort into. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I think this is like the least it's the least annoying, least disruptive way to do it. Yeah. People think you could just like be a fridge for a day. Okay? Try living life as a refrigerator every single day. Okay? Sometimes you don't know if you're going to fit through a door. Sometimes you don't know if you're going to fit through a hallway. Sometimes you're walking on a motherfucking sidewalk. Okay? And you literally have to stop and get off the sidewalk so a family can walk past you. People don't understand what it's like to live as a fridge every single day. My culture is not your costume. Okay? My culture is not your prom dress. My culture is not your Halloween outfit. Sick and tired of it. You guys don't understand it. You do not understand it. You don't know what it's like. Catching the wind as much as you do is a hazard in itself. Tipping risk much. Thank you. You're right. I have a lot of surface. I have a lot of density, bro. Walking sideways through doorways, you don't aggressively bump somebody. Yeah. Post economy class airline seats to spook Hasan this Halloween. Stop! Don't bring that up. That's a terrifying thought. Don't do it. Anyway. I forgot to blast off. We talked about the ad density and shit, and I totally forgot to blast off. Do you have privilege when setting a screen in basketball, though? Yes, it's the one advantage that I have. The first time I saw a stream where you weren't in your regular setup was you bending down to look into a fridge that you were wider than. It blew my mind. I don't know. I don't know if I'm wider than an actual fridge. Okay, maybe a little bit. Lula wins in Brazil. Bolsonaro still hasn't conceded. Affirmative action is under fire at SCOTUS. Okay. Korean Halloween disaster. Last off tweet. I promise this one is worth it today. No. Okay, fuck it. Sure. Thoughts on mothers? What do you mean? What is that even? What the fuck? What? I don't even understand what you just sent me. Let's be honest, what is Twitch paying that OnlyFans could not? I love moms. You guys know that already. Anyway. Where the fuck was I? God damn it. Oh, I was writing my blast off tweet and I totally forgot. Hold on. Lula wins in Brazil. Bolsonaro still hasn't conceded. Affirmative actions under fire. SCOTUS. Korean Halloween disaster takes 140 lives. And there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and I'm like not remembering right now. What the fuck is wrong with me? That's annoying. I have not watched White Lotus season 2. No. UFO report? No. Oh, Pelosi. Elon Musk posts Paul Pelosi shit. That's what I was going to talk about. Okay. Musk promotes Paul Pelosi is gay propaganda. And more news. On later. Now. I might have Curtis Connor coming over later, by the way. That's right, I said it. Yeah, the mayor himself, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's blast off. All right, here you go. He's a essay guy and a stand-up comedian, mayor of Curtistown. He's goated. He's the king. He's great. All right, blast off. Let the people know we're live and alive. Okay. And we'll get into the news in a second. What is this? There was another meme that you wanted me to watch. What the fuck is this?
Best Valkyrie tall moments. Oh my god, yes. Yes, I love this. Valkyrie tall moments. So tall. Thanks for watching.
Fucking got him, dude.
Okay. That actually is messed up. I was so excited. How dare? How dare?
Bro, that motherfucker just come from jail for stealing the people and now is presidente again. Oh my God. Bro, listen, unless you're a fucking psychotic Bolsonaro supporter, This notion that Lula is a fucking criminal is a silly one. Please, bro. We are not in like 2016, okay? Why are you still saying these things? Is it because they are like, you're living in the past, brother? We already know that he literally was acquitted, okay? They took him out of prison and they openly stated that the guy who fucking put him in prison was a Bolsonaro supporter who colluded with the fucking prosecution to jail him. It's fucking insane. He is not a criminal, dude. What the fuck? He was unjustifiably jailed. And there's so many dumb motherfuckers who are running with this shit. Could you explain the criminal Lula acquittal situation? Most of Latino America believes he's a criminal. Dude, it is crazy. In response to Lula winning, truck drivers are blocking the highways and refusing to work. These motherfuckers can't even take a loss, and now we might have a shortage of supplies in the next few weeks if things escalate. Turns out the right wing don't like law and order when someone is acquitted. It just doesn't make sense. They put him in jail for like the lightest of goddamn charges they could fucking possibly find in a country that is so goddamn corrupt to the fucking bone. Okay? He was deeply popular. He was still popular even in jail. The reason why this is a continuing fucking narrative is because right-wing memers are blasting it and continues to say like he's a criminal, he's a criminal, he's a criminal, he's a criminal. And then also Western propaganda, despite the fact that Western leadership is actually very supportive of Lula overall, let's be real, okay? They are. Like Joe Biden immediately said, congratulations to Lula for winning. This motherfucker went to jail unjustifiably, okay, and unjustly by Bolsonaro and Bolsonaro allies, and they still, like, people are still going, oh my God, he's such a criminal. Meanwhile, the streets of Brazil are lit, okay? People are celebrating. I've got a Brazilian coworker who says Brazil under Lula was the most graft since the Roman Empire, but his family owns a ranch in Brazil, so I think I understand his POV. Yeah. Anyway, I know that the meme, the meta is to say Lula is a thief. He stole my heart. He is a criminal. He stole my heart. But like, I don't even know if that's the best way to counter it, because clearly there's a lot of staying power. Okay. Bolsonaristas are crying and praying away their loss to Lula. This is awesome. Like, what are you doing, little guy? What's going on? Do you even have any idea what's happening? The judge who ruled Lula's case became the Bolsonaro justice minister. I know. And you know, Bolsonaro didn't even show up to talk to them. I know. They didn't even do that. Bolsonaro didn't even give them the dignity to you know, talk to them and be like, hey, I know we lost, but like, we'll win again or whatever. He just fucking hid in the palace, and his wife unfollowed him on the day of his major L. And then now he's just potentially plotting a coup, maybe? Who knows? Here in LATAM, the propaganda is insane. They say Lula is a criminal, AMLO is a socialist, lol, imagine. Even though he's a neolib, and Evo is a dictator. A lot of people believe these lies. Yeah. Box's vid on Lula's history, if you haven't already watched on stream. Oh, no. We did watch this on stream. It was terrible. It basically doesn't even cover it basically doesn't even cover the accusations and how they were falsified. And Sergio Moro, the judge from Lula's court, he was a Bolsonaro justice minister and fought with him because Bolsonaro controlled the federal police to save his ass, and his sons dismantled completely the car wash operations, but they came together again in the second turn in the most shameless way. I thought Lula was a sock them at least. No, he is. People in Latam take accusations of corruption very seriously and hold them above all else. Yeah, the irony is Latin American governments are insanely fucking corrupt, okay? Left, right, doesn't matter. There's so much fucking corruption happening in Latin American countries, in Latin American governments, and Lula ironically is is less corrupt than like 90% of Brazilian politicians, and they still jailed him in what I would consider to be the most corrupt way. That's the irony. The irony is that not only was Lula significantly less corrupt than most other fucking Brazilian politicians, he literally was jailed. You don't know that? What do you mean? Yes, I do. I live in 2022. He's out of jail. He just became the president. How do you think that happened? I don't understand it. No, Emil's not a socialist, dude. What the fuck? He said he claims he is, but like not really. Talking about corruptions in Latin American governments when you literally live in the US. Brother, corruption in Latin American governments is also US backed. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway. Anyway. Let's see. In the electric trio, they ask for prayer for God to intervene in the TSE and say they will not accept fraudulent election at the expense of fake news and judicial interference. Projection, by the way. I love the fucking copium and the projection coming from the right here on this issue. Okay? Specifically because like they literally do fake news. Part of the fake news is saying that, Lula is a criminal. These are the anti-vaxxers, okay? These are the anti-vaxxers. These are the people who, like, unironically spread so much fucking fake news. Not only that, but also, they also engaged in election interference. They engaged in voter suppression in northern territories where Lula is more popular. It's the exact same shit that we do. Our hogs are like identical to their hogs. They also say they will wait for Bolsonaro to make a statement before leaving the Esplanade. Electric Trio, which was announcing percentages every 10 minutes, refuses to announce that Lula is elected president and Bolsonaro has been defeated, but Bolsonaristas already know.
Tirar sua orientação. Nós vamos aguardar aqui juntos o pronunciamento e a orientação do nosso presidente. Tirar sua orientação. Nós vamos aguardar.
And for people who are saying, like, why is the CIA not intervening if they think, fucking Bolsonaro was good or that Lula was bad or whatever? I think that realistically, a lot of the left-wing movement that you've seen in Latin American countries as of late are otherwise inoffensive to American hegemony. Like, I want to believe that they're actually like there's a robust coalition out there or anything like that. But I think that they just don't, like, it's not as disruptive as it once was. Either the CIA does not have the same bandwidth it once did, or I think that they just think that you can still operate within the boundaries of Western hegemonic status. The PT's government was the biggest increase in against corruption with big laws, and they interfered in less in the federal police, so much that Dilma was kicked out because she didn't stop the car wash. They didn't even full impeachment her, knowing how bullshit it was. Any idea why they're linking Lula with criminal organizations? I mean, what do you mean? Liberal media in Brazil, just like everywhere else, is hyper anti-left, okay? So they've been pumping. What? Evil defeated good? If you don't understand that as a colonizer, then you can shut your mouth. You will never understand the pain that Brazil feels at this moment. We are destroyed. What? Evil defeated good? Unfollowing for several minutes? What the fuck? Are you okay? You're a 4-month subscriber. There's no fucking shot that you unironically are like a Bolsonaro supporter. There's no way. How was this person? I think they're just trolling, right? There's no fucking way they're being serious. I was joking. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. Bolsonaro didn't survive 15 bouts of COVID to lose this election. Hashtag recount. Stop. You see this insane thread saying criminals and cartels are celebrating the... Dude, narco traffickers celebrating the election of corrupt ex-convict leftist Lula da Silva as president of Brazil. Dude, they're making him look so badass, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, Lula came out of prison looking like fucking Iroh. You know what I mean? That's my favorite meme. Someone needs to make that if you don't have that. Look. Lula coming out of prison, okay? Uncle Iroh coming out of prison. Ironic because it's the exact same, okay? I'm telling you, this is how it happened. This is how Lula got out of prison. So was Lula actually corrupt or what? Was he innocent? Yes, bro. Yes. He was innocent. They jailed him because he's a fucking leftist and was popular. I wonder why the fucking fascist administration and his supporters colluded with prosecution and the judges to ensure that this dude went to jail. I wonder how. Like, what are you stupid? The guys that are saying he's a criminal are literally saying that they want to fucking kill Lula supporters because they're socialist. Please. He was held in prison for 580 days. And then he came out of prison looking like this. It's crazy.
Look at you. You're just a fat, disgusting old man. You do nothing, you say nothing.
Wait, are you genuinely happy that Lula wins? You know he was the head of one of the biggest corruption scandals in the world, right? He was only released because of Bolsonaro himself. Yeah, dude, Bolsonaro is so fucking nice. He's such a nice guy that he released Lula from prison, dude. Yeah, no, totally. Bro, how about he literally put him in prison? How about his supporters put him in fucking prison? Why? Why don't you? I don't understand. If you live in Brazil, how do you not know this? How do you not understand that at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break, which is slated to increase, okay? 4x. Last day. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. I haven't even run the ad yet. What are you talking about? Why are people fucking doing? Oh, stop. Oh, the numbers are actually still giving me a fucking segue debate rating. Brazil Supreme Court literally ruled Lula innocent, and he was let out after serving only a fraction of a sentence. It was all bullshit. The jail of popular leftist candidate, and there's still so many fucking idiots who are unironically claiming that is what happened. Kami Cole, thank you for the 50 gifted subs. And Dr. Decomposing, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Allowing 55 people to no longer see the ads. Here's the 1-minute ad break now. This is real. This is actually Lula in prison. $258 days in prison, and this motherfucker came out like that, bending fire, okay? Rishi Sunak in a major crisis is deeply unhappy. Tory MPs are already drafting letters of no confidence in him. That's awesome. The Tory party is falling apart. It's great. No, that photo isn't real. That photo is not actually him. Come on, bro. Chill. Like, obviously, that's not real. Real photo, though. I mean, he is hot. Look at his legs, bro. Look at how vascular and how big his legs are. And he's got a fat one, too. Kind of bricked up. Dude, you know what the funniest part about this conversation is? Because Brazilian politics is so similar and like so baby America that like whenever I'm talking about Brazilian politics, it almost feels like I'm talking about American politics while we're simultaneously addressing like for the 700th time, and this started literally yesterday, that Lula is not corrupt or a criminal because Television Man told you so for years and years. The irony is like we have this exact same shit happening in America in our backyard with like Republicans saying that DePipe was a male prostitute and Paul Pelosi was having homosexual sex with this male prostitute. It's just the same brain rot in every fucking avenue. In every corner is the exact same, okay? Fascists are great at tearing down people who are actually good in power, but when the time comes to be in charge, they show that they share one brain cell that died in a bunker in 1945. We covered, is Lula Bernie or is he more like Biden? Oh, he's definitely closer to Bernie than Biden. For sure. Are we getting any crime on the broadcast today? Big cold case from 2017. Delphi murders had a major development. I literally banned a chatter who's been screaming about the Delphi murders earlier today. Have you seen that Bolsonaro and Michelle, his now ex-wife, were covering up their marriage for 2 years now? After losing yesterday, she unfollowed him on Instagram, tarnished and maidenless. Yeah, I know. He took major L's, dude. I mean, look at what MAGA country is saying. They have the same speech as they did for the U.S. elections. Brazilian military insider contacts. Lula will win the election because they stole it as usual. Bolsonaro will wait to receive reports of the election results plus all the evidence of fraud. This is exactly the same as America, except the only difference is the Brazilian government has a closer history to a military takeover and a military dictatorship than the American government does. Okay, it's viable, and also almost 50% of the country voted for a guy who had time and time again said that military dictatorship in Brazil is far more preferable. So there's definitely some differences there because they have more mobilization than the American hogs do, because American hogs are only mad about fucking Applebee's and jalapeno poppers. But they don't have the organizational capacity that like Brazilian fascists do. So this could be a little bit more dangerous than, America. Okay.
Let's talk about the race to become Brazil's next president. It's a contest that really comes down to just two men. The current president, Jair Bolsonaro,
he is seen as the Trump of the tropics,
and former president Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva.
That's so funny. Okay, Brazilians are Turks too, straight up. Brazilians are also Turks.
Both the most loved and the most hated politician in Brazil, maybe seconded by Jair Bolsonaro.
Lula's ahead in the polls, and the big question...
No. I hate the fucking analysts that talk about Brazil in terms like this, bro. I hate it. Their analysis is always like... Their analysis is so libbed up. I hate that shit. Think about it from the frame... Americans, Westerners... Think about this from the same framework as though you were listening to BBC talk about Corbyn or you're listening to MSNBC talking about Bernie Sanders, okay? Understand that this moral equivalency or even this analysis that makes it seem like these guys are, equivalent or makes it seem like these guys are both equally fucking hated. Now, Al Jazeera is pretty good, but the analysts that they're tapping into are still going to be libbed up. Okay? So understand that whenever they talk about people like Lula, it's the exact same kind of coverage. Liberal media that maintains this like center-right attitude and genuine disdain for the left is always going to engage in this propaganda operation to tarnish and destroy and disrespect viable leftist candidates. That is precisely what's happening here, okay? That is what happened for the past 10 years, and that's the reason why. That is the reason why there's so many people who are still to this day going, oh my God, Lula is actually so corrupt. The fucking cartels are celebrating his win or whatever the fuck. Anyway.
The question is whether he can win outright in the first round. He'll need more than 50% of votes to do that, or it'll go to a second round runoff. And if Bolsonaro loses, it doesn't look like he'll go quietly.
Não é uma luta da esquerda contra a direita. É uma luta do bem contra o mal. E nós vamos vencer essa luta.
He's already been talking about election fraud.
Bolsonaro has challenged the very validity of the electoral process. He keeps flirting with a coup. Sometimes he says it explicitly, sometimes he just hints at it.
So who are these two rivals? And why are Brazilians so divided over them? In some ways, Bolsonaro and Lula represent a right versus left-wing rivalry, but there's also so much more going on. And a good place to start is the early 2000s. Lula became president in 2003 and served 2 terms until 2010. He was a former union leader and Brazil's first working-class president. It was a time when the economy was booming, and for a lot of Brazilians, life got better.
There was the commodities super cycle that made a lot of dollars come to Brazil. His administration also did a lot of measures to protect low-income families.
Lula left office with an 83% approval rating. The next president, Dilma Rousseff, was from the same workers' party, the PT, and was seen as Lula's handpicked successor.
President Rousseff, Dilma Rousseff, was enjoying pretty high approval rates at the time. And all of a sudden, Brazil went into this long turmoil. And one of the big questions that many people ask is, what happened to Brazil after 2013?
Well, a couple of big things happened. First, the economy turned. There was a recession, people were losing their jobs, and prices were going up. And then there was Operation Car Wash, what became a huge corruption investigation that went on for years. It basically uncovered a multi-billion-dollar money laundering and bribery scheme linked to the state-run oil company Petrobras.
They revealed during the car wash operation that there was an involvement of pretty much every single major political party in Brazil with corruption scandals.
That included Lula himself. In 2017, he was convicted of money laundering and corruption and ended up with a 12-year prison sentence, although he was released after about 18 months. Lula maintained he'd done nothing wrong and that all the charges were politically motivated. And by the way, the Supreme Court later annulled his conviction.
I wonder why, dude. That's crazy. How did that happen? How the fuck did that happen, dude? It's because, I guess it's because he was, fucking, what's his face? Bolsonaro was like a really big, criminal justice rehabilitation guy, you know? Of course, obviously, the United States would never be involved in such things in Brazil. The FBI released an interview with the Pelosi attacker. Oh my God, that's awesome. We'll definitely look at that.
So let's look at the last presidential election in 2018. It was a really messy time in Brazil. The economy was recovering from a deep recession, the corruption scandal was going strong, and violent crime was on the rise. And that's where Jair Bolsonaro comes in. He's a former army captain who became a member of Congress in 1990. He wasn't really a political heavyweight, but
he was literally a torturer too, and has talked fondly about torturing.
He got a lot of attention for making statements like this.
Eu sou favorável à tortura, tu sabe disso.
Oh yeah, there you go. He said, I'm pro-torture, you know this, and the people are too.
E o povo é favorável a isso também.
Maria do Rosário, fica. Há poucos dias tu me chamou de estuprador.
He's gonna say, I would never rape you, you're too ugly for me to rape you.
No Salão Verde, e eu falei que não estuprar você.
I said I wouldn't rape you because you don't deserve it.
Porque você não merece. Fica aqui para ouvir. Eu quero uma polícia civil e militar.
I want a civil police force and military to defend the people and that shoot to kill.
Que defesa do povo.
I didn't pre-watch. This is last time, bro. Brazilians listened to this man and said, that's my fucking guy. You understand? He was dishonorably discharged for trying to bomb military quarters. Bro, I'm telling you right now, this guy literally was like he was saying all this shit, and people were like, "Oh my God, that's so wonderful. I love that." And this guy goes, "So would you if crime was that high?" Bro, no, I wouldn't. You know why? Because I'm not some fucking suburbia living liberal who is deeply terrified of fucking living in an urban city, an urban environment, okay? I have a 3-inch dick. Yeah, we know already. The only way to solve crime is through solving the socioeconomic conditions that create crime. We've been over this a million times, okay?
Now, he ran for president in 2018 on a platform all about making Brazil great again. He was up against Lula, who was campaigning from jail.
Come to Brazil and try to solve it like that, lol. Hey, you dumb bitch. I don't have to do that because Lula's there. And part of his appeal for a very long time was literally that. His anti-poverty initiatives were so profoundly popular that 10 years of fucking counter Lula propaganda by liberal media and also, Bolsonaro's regime jailing him still didn't hurt his fucking chances of becoming the president. He's president again. Why? Because that's what happens. People don't fucking forget. When your parents and your grandparents were lifted out of poverty as a consequence of where they were able to get food on their table, where they were able to get electricity, okay, after a brutal fucking dictatorship, all of a sudden, that's the kind of life-changing improvements that they're not going to fucking forget. There's a reason why even fucking Chavez in a country like Venezuela still has a gigantic amount of supporters. Chavistas are the only reason why Maduro ever even maintained his power in the country. Do you get it? Despite the many coup attempts. Why? Because people don't forget. When you teach them how to fucking read, when you improve the literacy rate, when you give them food, when you give them shelter, when you put roads in their fucking otherwise impoverished neighborhoods, they don't forget that. Okay? Chavez's policies were so fucking overwhelmingly popular with an otherwise silent group of people that you will never hear from in Western media that they even got Maduro, okay? That lifted Maduro up, okay? And he's not exactly great.
Until he was barred at the last minute. And Bolsonaro won.
Bolsonaro seemed to be, as early as 2016 or 17, the man who embodied all the frustration and all the bad blood that was going around Brazil at the time. And his platform was music to many people's ears at that point. So he would say that he was an anti-system candidate. He was fighting corruption.
He has mastered political communication on social media.
The only reason why he was able to do this, by the way, the only reason why he was able to do this is because he, as a fascist, took advantage of anti-socialist liberals, okay? A lot of wealthy people who control the media in Brazil, just like in the United States of America, were interested in advancing capital interests. If you want to advance capital interests in a country, you have to destroy and vilify and turn into the enemy every single viable leftist candidate, because leftist policies are anti-capital. Okay? So you do that with a non-stop disinformation campaign. You do that by basically chipping away at the popularity of popular figures. Okay? And you do, and by the way, Lula is not even a fucking like full-blown out and about socialist, but he's definitely a trade unionist. He's like a big, he's always been a fucking pro-union guy. And also he has regularly spoken out against America's imperialist attitude towards countries like Iran and shit, but not to a certain, not to such a degree that like I think the American State Department considers him to be an enemy. I think they personally judging by what the Democratic Party has come out with so far, okay, it doesn't seem like they are too afraid of him, like to a degree that they would Salvador Allende his ass in the same way that they've done time and time again. Yes, he is pro-Palestine, yes.
Media like no one else in Brazil, especially no one on the left. And he has successfully shaped a lot of conversations in the country. That's what allowed him to go from backbencher to a competitive presidential candidate to being the president.
Yeah, I love what Bolsonaro, the anti-system candidate, despite being a congressperson for 30 plus years and military before then. Okay. Like, it's just like Donald Trump running around being like, I'm against the wealthy. Owning our politicians is like, bro, you did that though. Like, you literally did that. The fuck are you talking about? You are a billionaire. You are the system. When you're a billionaire, you are more the system than politicians are, because politicians serve you and your interests. Of course, try explaining that to some fucking idiot, okay? No, you can't do that.
Now, some Brazilians look back at the last 4 years of Bolsonaro as president and see disaster. Many blame him for not taking COVID seriously. More than 680,000 Brazilians died, the second highest death toll in the world.
The highest. I can't remember who was. Oh, that's right. This is also the other reason why I'm saying, like, we're number one, baby. We're number one. Brazil tries to be the United States so bad. Brazil wants to be Cardi, but they can't, okay? Bolsonaro wants to be Trump, but he can't do it. He can't be Trump.
Then there's his environmental record. Deforestation has accelerated under Bolsonaro, and he's rejected the idea that Brazil has any special role to play in the fight against climate change.
É uma falácia dizer que a Amazônia é patrimônio da humanidade.
He said it's a fallacy to say that the Amazon is the heritage of humankind.
E equívoco.
And a misconception confirmed by scientists to say that our Amazon forests are under attack, or are the lungs of the world, I guess. Yeah, are the lungs of the world. Oh, that's so sick. I love that. He's like, no, dude, you guys don't understand. It's actually super sick that I'm destroying the Amazon. I mean, he's right, though. You're right, brother. He is right. Fuck the Amazon forest, brother. You're right. Fuck them trees, dog. No, you're right. Fuck them trees.
The accusation that Bolsonaro has deliberately weakened state.
It's so dumb. Who needs oxygen? Honestly, who the fuck needs oxygen? I'm sick and tired of what Mr. Beast is doing too. Like, oh, wow. Super sick, bro. You want to plant trees? How about you plant bitches, okay? How about that? Couldn't be me. What are you, a fucking baby, dude? You need oxygen to breathe? Me? I'm running on fucking carbon monoxide, okay? Not even carbon dioxide. I'm running on carbon monoxide poisoning, which is precisely why I think that this is ghosts. Ghosts are real now, okay? I've been doing lung training this entire time, okay? Sucking on an exhaust pipe.
State institutions.
Bolsonaro has moved very quickly ever since the very beginning of his tenure to undermine and to hollow out political institutions and bureaucracies, especially those who might put obstacles or limits to the actions of some private interest groups that have supported Bolsonaro from day one.
But a lot of Brazilians really like what Bolsonaro stands for. He's seen as more supportive of the private sector, and he's got a lot of support among people with more conservative social values.
Deus, pátria.
Is always the same shit. God, nation, family, and freedom. And all the fucking capital owners are like, capital owners love, even just, and America as well, love even the slightest hint that you're going to privatize, like nationalize industries. You know what I mean? They come so hard. They love that shit. They love that shit the most, okay? During Lula's first time in office, deforestation of the Amazon fell by 80%. Under Bolsonaro, it surged again. A recent analysis by Carbon Brief shows that Lula's victory could bring deforestation down 89% by the end of the decade. Today's election was crucial for the climate. Dude, this is so bitch made. Straight up, I don't need trees, okay? I don't need trees, and I certainly don't need oxygen to breathe. What? Oh, that's funny. Wait, when are you leaving? I'm talking about Bolsonaro and shit right now. Oh, well, thank you for the coffee, by the way. That's very nice of you.
I didn't even message him. Tell him I didn't even message
him. Yeah, he didn't even let me know. He just got me a cold brew. Yeah. Coffee showed up at the door. He's asking what time checkout is. Yeah, you can get a late checkout, bro. Don't worry about it. Why oxygen if we can have copium? That's what I'm saying, dude. People have bitch-made lungs, okay? I'm a fish man. I don't even need it, okay? I do not need oxygen. I will live under the water. Call me a fish man, okay? Sorry, I've been watching the Arlong Park saga. Yeah, I'm Mr. Arlong, bitch. Fish still breathe oxygen. Shut up! Fuck the O2 tank. I hit the Benjamin. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Shut up, nerd. Talking about fucking how fish need oxygen. Like, shut up, dude. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your fucking fake news, dog.
Família e liberdade. Brasil acima de tudo. Deus acima de todos.
He projects himself as a man of faith, of Christian values, who wants a traditional family, who's against abortion. Those that vote for Bolsonaro.
That abortion flag is so stupid, dude. I love that.
Want people to be talking about gender identity in school. They don't want abortion, definitely. They don't want drugs to be legalized. They'd rather not have gay rights. These people, there are people that believe in this agenda.
So in this election, with Bolsonaro up against Lula, you've got this epic political showdown. Both of them are huge personalities, both are controversial in their own way, and both of them inspire love and hate from different parts of society. But putting the political theater aside...
Yeah, love and hate. Bolsonaro inspires love from the absolute worst pieces of shit piglet hogs you've ever seen. Lula, on the other hand, inspires the working poor, working class people, everyday citizens, okay? And also other marginalized identities, indigenous populations, the LGBTQIA community, working class people. It's just both sides. Who's to say which side is better than the other? I'm in the liberal media, so I can't distinguish between a bunch of piece of shit, psychotic, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing fucking weirdos who want to murder every marginalized community. And regular old working poor people, I can't distinguish between one another. It's great.
For a moment, the big issue for most Brazilian voters is the economy, because a lot of people are struggling right now. More than half the population is food insecure, even though Brazil is one of the world's biggest food producers. And prices are going up for food and fuel, just like in many other countries.
Nós sofremos, meu filho, não é brincadeira não. Ela vai pra rua, arruma lá, pede, os amigos ajuda, tudo, tô dizendo a você.
Tem mês que aperta mais, né? Tem mês que aperta, mas tem a semana que melhora mais e outras vai mais fraca e assim vai.
Economic conditions in Brazil have been extremely challenging, especially for lower income voters who are the majority of the Brazilian population. So that's why the economy is the number one, number two, and number three priority for voters.
So both candidates are trying to convince voters that they're the man to deliver on the economy. Bolsonaro has been pointing out that inflation and unemployment have gone down, and in July he got Congress to approve $7.6 billion in emergency aid. That includes a 50% increase in monthly cash payments for Brazil's poorest until the end of the year. As for Lula,
people conflate the fact that Lula was at best complicit in corruption, okay, with Bolsonaro being an out-and-about fascist, anti-environment bigot directly responsible for thousands of deaths. It's like the most fucked up whataboutism ever, except it's one that we are accustomed to, okay? I mean, Biden is significantly worse than Lula in many respects, okay? Straight up. He is not like Lula at all. Lula is infinitely better. I would say Lula is very close to Bernie Sanders. But people also say awful things to Bernie Sanders and about Bernie Sanders. It's like when people were coming out and claiming that, the Goldman Sachs CEO was coming out and claiming and being like, Trump might be like kind of a fascist or whatever. He's kind of racist or whatever. But like if Bernie became the Democratic primary nominee, I think I would probably have to vote for Donald Trump. We do that here as well. Regarding the rainforest, Bolsonaro co-opted anti-imperialist sentiment by saying things like the Amazon belongs to Brazil and the rest of the world shouldn't be making decisions about what they do with it. Yeah, typical.
he's been pushing the message that the economy was much better back when he was president.
O país que eu deixei é país que o povo tem saudade. É o país do emprego. É o país em que o povo tinha o direito de viver dignamente, de cabeça erguida nesse país. E esse país vai voltar.
He's able to tap into people's perception that their lives were better back in 2010. And the fact that is that it was better. People's lives were definitely better.
Se ele entrar, vai ser beleza. Aí a gente vai poder voltar a comer carne. Igual com o Bolsonaro, a gente vai voltar a comer pé de frango.
Lula has basically run on the platform, I know how to do stuff, I have done in the past, and I'm not Bolsonaro.
But that works the other way around too, with some people supporting Bolsonaro just because he's not Lula.
There are people who vote for Bolsonaro because they hate Lula. These are people that are furious at the corruption scandals, and they feel that they're now having to...
No, they're not. They're just angry at shapes and colors. They're angry at what they've seen on the television, okay? They're angry at what they think, okay? They're angry at what they think is like Lula's doing. That's it. Why? Because liberals have fucking routinely shit on Lula and the left in general, okay? And there are valid reasons to talk about the corruption, okay? Within the nationalized with the national the whatever the fucking company's called, the Petro whatever the fuck. So was Lula personally corrupt? No. At most he was complicit in corruption that was happening in his party, Petrobras, Brazil. Why didn't I know the name of that off the top of my head? It's pretty obvious. Okay? But the reason why he was going to jail for 12 years was fucking ridiculous. They tried to tie him with everything. But ultimately, it's the same energy as giving serious coverage to, I don't know, dumbasses in fucking West Virginia, for example, let's say, reading whatever they see on WhatsApp or on Facebook, and getting upset about people shitting in kitty litter boxes, right? Like teenagers shitting in kitty litter boxes, and making that the fucking centerpiece of the political campaign. And then some other foreign outlet covering the news story like, Americans are genuinely upset at Biden for forcing children to take shits and pisses in kitty litter boxes in schools. Like, it's basically that. It's the same exact energy. I think watching Hasan lowers your IQ. Yeah, totally. Also, Bolsonaro's political party from when he won in 2018 had much more responsibility. Yeah, also, Bolsonaro is like infinitely more corrupt, but in a way, because he's like Trump, openly and brazenly corrupt, that people find honesty in that corruption. Because ultimately, people don't care about corruption. They care about whether or not the guy is on their side, ostensibly, okay? And a lot of people, especially evangelicals, psychopathic fucking, vaccine truthers, the far right, the center right, a lot of these people, and of course the middle class, that watches way too much television and is like brainwashed by anti-left liberal propaganda, saw someone like Bolsonaro as a guy who's on their side because at least he's not Lula, right? But when Bolsonaro is openly and brazenly corrupt, like utilizing the federal police force, the highway patrol to stop fucking Lula voters from going out and voting, for like he did literally yesterday, okay? They don't consider that to be a bad thing. They consider that to be a good thing because, hey, those guys are corrupt, but they're corrupt at my behest. You understand? Guy's so honest, he put a 100-year top secret classification on shit regarding his sons. Yeah, he also may or may not have been a cuck.
Pick between a crazy guy and a robber. It's like, which one would I rather have?
A
All
robber.
of this is creating a really tense election atmosphere. There's even been violence. 2 Lula supporters have been killed by Bolsonaro supporters, and Bolsonaro doesn't seem to be doing much to calm things down. He's been questioning the voting machines and setting up the idea that there could be fraud.
He's trying to sow distrust in the country's electronic voting system, which in almost 30 years has never faced one single credible fraud allegation. And Bolsonaro has swamped the Brazilian public discourse with vitriol. He has portrayed this electoral race as a battle between good and evil.
So there's a lot of nervousness in Brazil about the state of the country right now and where this election could take things.
What I feel about this election is like there's no hope for the future. It's more of an election like, let's avoid falling into a hole. So
Why?
People are.
Why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like Lula is bad? Why are you automatically fucking engaging with anti-Lula sentiment as though it's anywhere near fucking another 4 years or however many years under fucking Bolsonaro? It's crazy. Look, man, here's the reality. If it doesn't impact you, whether or not fucking Lula or Bolsonaro is president, then don't make it seem like either side is genuinely the same. I hate when liberals do this shit. It's like, yeah, it doesn't impact you, so you don't like it. Because Lula's impact will be potentially, hurting your friends that you go to cocktail parties with. You know, the mega elite in Brazil, the super wealthy, or even the upper middle class, okay, who think that they have a vested interest in maintaining a hyper-capitalist psychotic dystopia in Brazil. Or you just don't care if Bolsonaro fucking ruins the Amazon rainforest and continues trying to butcher LGBT people. It just doesn't matter. Brazilian here and live in the southern part of the country where Bolsonaro won the most. Yesterday was crazy. We who voted for Lula wanted to go out in the streets to celebrate our victory, but couldn't do it. We were afraid to do so and get shot or run over by Bolsonaristas. In some towns, they beat people up, and today they're closing roads. Bolsonaro hasn't come out to speak yet. Imagine when he do. We just want this madness to end. Yeah, it's crazy. The interesting part about Lula is that it's not like he was like, let's murder the bankers type socialist. You know what I mean? He wasn't even a socialist. He's a social democrat. Like here, at 33, he's leading the 1979 Steelworkers Union during a fucking military dictatorship, okay? The meeting endorsed the first large-scale 200K worker strike in the country since 1968 after years of repression by the ruling military dictatorship. So he's putting his... he's putting his life on the line this way in a meaningful capacity. But when he's in a position of power, he's like helping out the bankers. You know what I mean? He created a weird center left and leftist coalition that worked. Meanwhile, Bolsonaro, on the other hand, is tapping into some of the most insane, unhinged psychopaths in Brazil and turning otherwise center left people who are brainwashed by liberal propaganda for years and years into psychotic far-righters. No joke, ever since I started following U.S. politics, I get a big sense of deja vu every couple months. We literally copy our country's dumbass shit. I wanted to celebrate yesterday and thought better of it. I live in a Bolsonarista town. Yeah, I mean, Brazil is one of the countries where, like, I think it's a damn near carbon copy. If Democrats wanted to learn anything from Lula or left-leaning victories in Latin America, they would run on things like ending hunger and then actually do that. They don't want to learn much because they don't want to learn much, but just some free advice anyway. Helping people survive is popular. Here we have to continue building power and capacity from the ground up, but just in case this reaches anyone or helps a politician sort this out. Yeah, it's not going to happen. American brain rot is so fucking insane and so permanent that when Joe Brandon did a profoundly popular thing by eliminating student loan debt, right, for $10,000 to $20,000, motherfuckers said that's stealing. That's buying votes. Americans are so permanently brain broken by a genuine disdain that politicians have for the working poor that any kind of popular provision that helps the working class is seen as a negative thing. Like, we are so geared towards being cucked, it is unimaginable to me. Being this cucked is wild.
One of the most stunning political comebacks, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has been voted in as Brazil's next president. It was a very tight race. The former leftist leader, who served 18 months in prison for corruption charges later annulled, took nearly 51% of the vote. Far-right incumbent Jair Bolsonaro won 49%. Mr. Bolsonaro becomes the first sitting president in Brazil ever to lose re-election. Our South America correspondent Katie Watson reports.
Celebration on the streets of Sao Paulo and a sense of relief. They predicted a tight race, and it was a nail-biter to the very end.
I feel free, relieved, not only for the Brazilian people, but for the whole planet, for the Amazon, for the democracy, for the human rights. So we are very happy.
It's a very divided country, though. There'll be lots of people unhappy.
I gotta pee, I'll be back.
It was a very little difference, the small difference. So we have to be very patient, and we have to leave the anger and the hatred away.
What a comeback for Brazil's president-elect, a man who left power just 12 years ago with a sky-high approval rating, but who then subsequently fell from grace over corruption scandals. Here he is again, Lula 2.0.
It was the hardest campaign of my life. It wasn't man against man, party against party. It was a group of people who love freedom and democracy against authoritarianism.
The noise on the streets filled the silence from Bolsonaro's camp. The speculation was that he went to bed. While voting was largely peaceful, there was a lot of expectation and nerves on Sunday as people cast their ballot. In this unequal country, the divide was clear. Rich and poor, left and right. People had a stark choice to make.
I'm voted for Bolsonaro, of course.
What's the best thing about Bolsonaro? Why do you like Bolsonaro?
I don't agree with him like 100%. I think he has a lot of flaws, but he's a man of God. He has like the right principles and...
Bro, this is literally direct Trump. Just instead of him saying Bolsonaro, listen to him say Trump. It's the same. This is what I've heard evangelicals say about Trump, dog. The same shit. He's a man of principles, you know, he's a man of God. Like, you know, how he said he was vibing with a 14-year-old girl who he found attractive. You know? Police in Sao Paulo legit said that they were allowing whichever party won to have their party on the street. Basically, whoever lost had to stay the fuck away so there wouldn't be fights. It's funny because Bolsonaristas assume the cops will always be on their side like in America, but Brazil's institutions haven't rotted away into that level of police state yet. Probably because we don't have a two-party system. I mean, that's a definitely regional thing. That's 100% a regional thing. There's no shot that that is the case, especially because Bolsonaro still very much controls the federal police, for example. Like you're talking about a country where yesterday the federal highway police, led by a Bolsonaro supporter who's like an avid open Bolsonaro supporter, was stopping people from voting. And the army also was trying to divert people from voting. They were going into fucking public transportation where the poorest of the working class are utilizing to go and vote. And trying to get them to not vote for the criminal, Lula. And by the way, he still lost, so, you know, get fucked. R.I.P. Bozo. The faces of communism. Fucking terrifying. Trigger warning, bro. Stop. What is... here, let's finish this.
He's not the biggest thief that ever exist in Brazil.
It's very sad, in my opinion, to see Brazil in this state where we have to decide between two candidates that just make Brazil such a polarized country, inciting violence, extremes, and I think especially they don't represent any of the young population, right?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Why is it so fucking devastating? I don't understand. What do you mean? Is she talking about Bolsonaro? How is she saying both sides on this? Also, holy fuck, dude. Western media find one non-white person in a Latin American country challenge, impossible difficulty, and make sure that that non-white person isn't the like fucking token Bolsonarista, okay? Holy fuck. They literally go to the heartland. They just straight up go to the heart of the fucking city and find the wealthiest, centrist, whitest fucking libs they possibly can, who have like gotten education in like liberal arts institutions in America, and then go back and they're like, yeah, my father, who owns like 8 fucking agricultural farms, is very upset right now with the way things are going, and I also have that same kind of resentment and animosity built into me because we recognize where we make our money. It was pretty sick when Bolsonaro made slavery legal, okay? It worked well for our agricultural output, none of which was going back to the Brazilian people who were starving, but it's cool, you know? So it's a real both sides kind of situation.
Any progress in the country. It's really very sad. So my vote is a vote of protest.
Amid such division, it was Lula who made it to the finish line first.
People here
That's
are
right,
shouting,
baby.
Lula has returned. Like him or loathe him, this is a historic moment for Brazil. 20 years after Lula.
Ano o Lula bota o Bolsonaro pra mamar. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Vai dar PT, vai dar PT, vai dar. Bro, Lema, what are they doing? L is for Lula. It doesn't mean that you lost. When you throw up the L, you're saying it for Lula. Red is also the color of Lula's party and not Bolsonaro's. Like, the liberals are also right-wing. Most people don't understand these concepts because they're so fucking brain broken by American politics. But and this means Bolsonaro is gonna suck Lula's cock, right? Portuguese still sounds like an LA Chicano. Mamad, you forced his prison when he was about to win. Now he's back. And what's going to happen? This year, Lula will make Bolsonaro suck it. And yeah, like, despite Bolsonaro being a fascist, his party is the liberal party, for the record. Liberals are centrist at best, literally everywhere in the world, and people don't even realize. Yeah. So in many ways, in the United States of America, the Democratic Party being liberal is actually apt because it is a center-right party. It's true. But like liberals in other countries are openly center-right. Like everybody understands that that's not the only leftist option, okay? In other countries, when you are a leftist in other countries, you either join a socialist party, you join a labor party, you know what I mean? You join a communist party, depending on where you are in the world. You don't join the liberal party. The liberals, like the Lib Dems, for example, in the UK, are center-right. In classical liberal countries, liberals generally represent the status quo. I mean, they just... They only care about... They only...
menino já tá comentando. Pode arrumar as mãos.
Anyway. No memes actually go to Brazil. It's fun as fuck. I would. Especially now. I definitely would now.
One of the most
Anyway, let's move on. Bolsonaro voters pray as rival Lula wins Brazil's presidential runoff. Let's watch some fucking beautiful tears, dude.
Sobre o TSE, mas que o Senhor, meu Deus, possa colocar o teu anjo.
Keep crying, bitches.
Nós oramos nessa oportunidade para o Senhor, demônio. Porque cair em tentação, mas livrai-nos do mal. Porque teu é o reino. Lula, ladrão! Feita a vossa vontade, assim na terra como no céu.
Fascist audio, Omega lol. Why does this have the same energy as the megachurch Trump cult shit? Why do right-wingers always ride the fascist dick so hard? Bro, this is literally the exact same. The energy is the exact same as Trump supporters fucking crying that Trump lost the election to Brandon, because it is the exact same. Do you understand? The audience is the exact same. The messaging is the exact same. The fucking attitude is the exact same. If you looked at the demographic breakdown, you would literally probably find an identical demographic breakdown of like, you know, a swath of the working poor who have been duped because of like anti-vaxxer conspiracies or anti-LGBT conspiracies, you know, that sort of shit. And then an overwhelming amount of like wealthy people. Here, look. Look at that. Yeah, there you go. There's functionally no difference between the two. Okay, look, I mean, literally, look at that. They're doing the same shit, dog. Because they are the same. It's the same picture. I really get pissed off as a Brazilian. It's really obvious as someone who follows international politics how our hogs are importing 100% of your brain rot here. Oh, dude. And they're using American applications. Like China, we talk about how China is like, by way of TikTok, breaking the brains of the American population, right? Okay, well, Facebook is doing that with WhatsApp everywhere on the fucking planet. We're doing infinitely worse than what China is doing with TikTok to America everywhere else with WhatsApp and misinformation. Everywhere around the fucking planet. Wherever you see these fucking pieces of shit prop up, crying because they can't, like, I don't know, murder trans people or some shit. Anyway, also, we got more information from the Bolsonaro crying hogs. It's Hogwatch time. Come to Brazil edition. Hogwatch, come to Brazil edition. Okay? Of course, they're saying, this is fraud. It's fraudulent.
Take a listen to some supporters from Bolsonaro's camp, where it was not so much of a celebration. Let's take a listen to those supporters of the incumbent president, Jair Bolsonaro.
No movement for Lula exceeded 1 million people. Bolsonaro got 1.5 million on the streets here in Rio de Janeiro last year. This year it's also the same average. This is a fraud. And if we need to go to the army will have to intervene. Communism...
Yeah, they're calling for a fascist coup d'etat. They're calling for a fascist military dictatorship because that is far preferable in the eyes of, again, fucking fascists than what they believe is a communist rule that is going to happen. Your Portuguese Brazilian accent is sick, dude. Thank you.
Will not come to Brazil.
Bolsonaro has his flaws like every man, like every human being has. These are the people who can no longer stand the Workers' Party. These are the people who can no longer stand robbery. And that's it. I wash my hands because I did my bit. I voted conscientiously. I voted knowing that above all, my Brazil cannot be led by a bandit.
Like, I don't understand. Why doesn't anybody be like, okay, what about Bolsonaro? You know what I mean? What about his corruption? But how do you feel about that? Like, this motherfucker bought 51 properties in cash. Where did that come from? This motherfucker bought 51 properties in cash, dog. What happened there? You have an issue with that? He's going to be like, he's a man of God. Man, whoa, he's a man of God, Bolsonaro. He deserves it. He deserves the 51 properties. I wish he was my landlord. Bro, celebrate any of these two winning is so garbage? Fuck off, bro. What do you mean it's garbage? Listen, bro, I'm pro Lula, okay? I'll say it.
Honestly, victory is when we win. He did not win. This was stolen. The truth is that everyone is disappointed. We were expecting it because of the Supreme Court we have. For sure it was stolen. I sincerely hope that we can reverse this somehow.
de alguma forma.
So, Tim, some pretty strong denial there coming from Bolsonaro's supporters. We still have not heard from the man himself. What do you make of that?
Well, 4 years ago when he won,
he was in jail, nice president. You dumb motherfuckers would be like, Nelson Mandela is a bad person, okay? You literally just turn off a part of your brain that completely forgets that, like, good people, innocent people get locked up all the time. Yeah, that Nelson Mandela guy, he's a fucking terrorist, you know? He is. He's a terrorist. That's what the government said at the time when they locked him up. MLK, also a terrorist. You know, he was doing a lot of racial agitation. We don't like that. Terrible criminal.
you couldn't stop him. He was going to rid the country of leftists. He was going to ride them out of town. He was going to put a stop to activism. That's when he won. When he lost, broke with protocol entirely. Nothing to say. Some might see that as a lack of class.
I don't think that's a lack of class. I think that's deliberate. That's not a lack of class. I think that's straight up fucking deliberate, okay? It's terrifying.
Will he challenge the results? It's a possibility. But one thing that was very quick, as soon as the result came in,
Bolsonaro supporters have absolutely no idea what to do because their master is quiet. They don't know if they should protest or just shut up. It's honestly funny to go outside here in Rio. Honestly, it's better that he's shutting the fuck up at this stage, though. Like, obviously, the best possible thing would be for Jair Bolsonaro to come out and be like, I'm actually dying. I'm going to the hospital for the 700th time, and this time, you know, it's a real whodunit. I'm dying, actually, and also I concede. Like, that would be the best possible outcome, okay? Which is not going to happen. But currently, as it stands, him coming out and being like, the election was stolen, like Donald Trump has done, okay? My wife left me, brother, and the election was stolen by fake communist Venezuelans or whatever the fuck he's going to say. And then that the streets should, you should take to the streets and kill Lula supporters or whatever the fuck is not going to be the best possible outcome here. It would be significantly worse. I know his wife legit left him. That wasn't a joke. I know. I am aware that Bolsonaro's wife literally said, R.I.P. Bozo. I heard Lula eats pussy 9 times a day. I'm leaving you. I've seen his fucking fat hog and how veiny and vascular his gigantic quads are. Bye-bye. She said those things. Well, she didn't say those things. I just tied a bunch of different, like, random conspiracy theories together. But she did unfollow him on Instagram. Also, another fun conspiracy from the election cycle in Brazil was when they were saying that Bolsonaro was actually a cuck and that there was this, like, sexy firefighter that Bolsonaro's wife was actually fucking, and that Bolsonaro's kids were literally friends with the firefighter who actually was fucking his wife, and that they gave him like a bunch of weird. I think they like raised money for him or something. Well, we will never know because there's a lot of secrecy shit that Bolsonaro also did for his sons. There's an explanation for the Insta unfollow. Yeah, the firefighter was the father who stepped up. Apparently, Carlos Bolsonaro is to blame. He often controls his father's account and got in a fight with his stepmother, according to Metropolis. Stay tuned for more information on this important story. Jair Bolsonaro and Michelle Bolsonaro reportedly unfollowed each other on Instagram. I want to believe. Wait, that's not a joke, though. The firefighter story is real. I'm not even kidding about that. Dude, Brazilian politics is insane, bro. Like, the Bolsonaro's not a pedophile line was pretty funny when it came out. We covered it yesterday. But also, the Bolsonaro literally was like, his approval rating dipped when Brazilians were like, no shot, you let your wife get fucked by that guy? I remember at the time, people were fucking mad at him. Like, his own community was like kind of mad at him about that. They don't give a fuck if he like steals money and buys like 51 properties. They don't give a fuck if he's a fascist. But like, God forbid you let your wife get fucked by a firefighter, you're cuck-pilled, no shot. Here. God, I love Brazilian politics. Just like when you always say politics here is just like team sports as well. People love your candidate, and that's it. Bolsonaro could rape children in the middle of the street, and the hogs would love him no matter what. I mean, yeah, he literally said he would. He said he had good vibes with a 14-year-old, dude. He was like, I met a 14-year-old, and I thought she was sexy, and I asked her to take me to her house. Like, and people didn't fucking turn around and say that was bad. Yeah, the eating pussy 9 times a day was anti-Lula propaganda, which is weird. That is another thing, but I'm not kidding. Bolsonaro a couple weeks ago came out on a fucking Brazilian podcast and said, I was driving around in my little fucking Vespa and I saw a sexy ass 14-year-old girl and we hit it off. We had good chemistry. He said that. He literally said that. I'm not joking. And he was like, can I come to your house? And then he went to the house of the 14-year-old girl and saw a bunch of other, in his words, attractive 14-year-olds getting dressed up. And he asked them, why are you getting dressed up? And they said, well, we're getting dressed up because we're working. And he was like, why are you working on a Saturday? And then he implied that they were prostitutes that were sex trafficked, which is a wild story because turns out they weren't, okay? But also, not only that they weren't sex trafficked and they weren't doing prostitution, if that was the case, why the fuck wouldn't you, as the president, do something about it? Like, he was the president at the time. He's like, yeah, like, even if the story was real, okay? Why would you say you were attracted to a 14-year-old? And then why wouldn't you actually, like, save these little girls from being sex trafficked? He was like, yeah, I didn't do anything. What could he do as the president? I don't know. Call the police? What he should have done is not try to fuck a 14-year-old, okay? That's what he should have done. Bolsonaro says he felt a spark with a 14 and 15-year-old girls, and video becomes ammunition for opponents. What he should have done instead is, like, not say that he had good chemistry with a 14-year-old who he followed to the house, okay? So he shouldn't have done that. And then lastly, you know, if there was actually like sex trafficking happening there, I don't know, maybe do something about it. You're the president. Lula explored the opponent's speech. Those of you who are mothers, those of you who are fathers, listen to what Bolsonaro said about 14-year-old girls. Says the 30-second piece produced by the PT campaign. He felt a spark with a 14-year-old girl. Is this the man who claims to defend the family? Which, by the way, how would you be able to call the police? They weren't they all defunded after those 2020 riots for BLM? Yeah. Bro, it's like Chris Hansen stuff. I just want to tell this miner how bad it is and save them. Yeah. He apparently had some cannibalism sound bites too. I didn't even know that. I'd eat an Indian. Rival sees on unearthed Bolsonaro cannibalism boast. I didn't even know about this one. I didn't even hear about this one. That's fucking wild. He says he went to Suracucu once, and then I started seeing Indian women passing. This guy got like 49% of the vote, okay? Like millions of people voted for this guy. This shit came out and millions of people were like, that's me. I'm writing for that shit, okay? Understand how fucked up and how similar to the United States of America Brazil is. But in many ways, by the way, Indian is indigenous in this circumstance, okay?
Mulheres índias passando com carregamento de banana nas costas, uma atrás da outra, e o índio passa
carrying bananas, and an Indian guy passes by picking his teeth with a grass blade.
Mas o que está acontecendo?
I asked, what's going on? I saw a lot of people passing by. An Indian died, and they're cooking him. They cook Indians. It's their culture.
Eles cozinham o índio. É a cultura deles. Corpo.
The body. They put the body, but not to eat, right? To eat, yes. They cook it for 2-3 days and eat it with bananas.
Então eu queria ver o índio sendo cozinhado.
I wanted to see the Indian being cooked.
Daí o cara, se for,
Then he said, if you go, you'll have to eat.
Daí a comitiva,
I said,
ninguém
I'll
quis
do
ir.
it. He's always yelling. It's so weird. Like, he's always yelling. I said, I'll do it. Then the team, no one wanted to go.
Vamos comigo lá, ninguém quis ir.
He said, come with me.
Como a comitiva
But then the team said they didn't want to go because they'd eat an Indian. As for me, they didn't want to take me alone, so I didn't go.
Aí não fui. Eu comeria o índio.
I'd eat the Indian, no problem whatsoever. It's their culture. I subjected myself to that, okay?
E eu me submeti àquilo.
I'm from India and this is not our culture. No, he's not talking. He's talking about indigenous people. By the way, this never happened. That's the funniest part about his stories is that, like, his stories are just fake or a complete bastardization of what has actually happened, okay? There's a video of Lula being homophobic, by the way. Search it up, fake news Andy. Damn, dude. That's crazy. Fucking got him, dude. Yeah, who do I think is more homophobic between Lula, a person who has campaigned on LGBT rights, versus Bolsonaro, a person who has fucking campaigned on murdering gay people? Who literally said he would fucking kill his son if his son was gay. Even though he himself is a cuck. And, you know, I wonder who is more homophobic. I wonder if this chatter cares about homophobia or is just simply trying to weaponize it in this circumstance. You dumb, stupid motherfucker. You stupid, absolute imbecile in your fucking dumb, fake woman sock account. Who are you fooling? The funniest part about Bolsonaro's lies, though, is that, like, they also make him look awful. Like, to anyone that's not completely fucking brainwashed, this Lula's video was in 2002, and he was homophobic, but it was one moment compared to all the many times Bolsonaro did it. Dude, why the fuck would I give a shit about what Lula said in 2002 when he's running on literally defending LGBT rights? Are you fucking insane? Why would I give a shit about his homophobia 20 fucking years ago in an out of context clip when half of you dumb motherfuckers weren't even born? When the guy he's running up against, when he's running for LGBT rights, the guy he's running against is literally so anti-LGBT that he's made it a permanent staple of his fucking campaign. I don't care. Oh yeah. Remember this? Wasn't Jair Bolsonaro straight up saying that he was going to kill Elliot Page before this is a pre-transition where he literally fucking said to his face like insane, bro. Dude, it's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing to turn around and be like, "Hey, don't look at this. Don't look at the 100 times that Jair Bolsonaro has stared directly at the camera and gone, I don't like gay people. I would kill my son if he was gay." Like, he said that, okay? And think about the one time that we caught Lula being homophobic in 2002. Wait, I want to hear what that fucking dumb bitch has to say. Where is he? Where is that fucking alt account, that fake account? Did we ban him already? Because I want to listen to the fucking dude. The weirdos are getting so they're not as good. They used to be better at trolling. I'm gonna unban him. I want to hear what they have to say, Lake McGroove, before we ban him again. Because like, oh shit, they already took down their fucking profile picture. Shut the fuck up. No way. Immediately change the alt account profile picture. Okay, they're probably gone. I'll ban them again. It's just like, I don't know. I just, they're not even trying at this point. Like, to look at someone like Lula and to look at someone like Bolsonaro and be like, man, what do you have to say about Lula's homophobia is such a funny fucking take. You're not even trying at that point. You're relying on other people not knowing anything about Brazilian politics. You're relying on me not being able to adequately address that because you think I don't know anything about Jair Bolsonaro, like, at all. They're both bad, but one is clearly worse. No, fuck no. I don't give a shit about some fucking politician who's currently running on a pro-LGBT campaign against the fucking psychopathic fascist who wants to melt trans people, okay? Because they said something out of context in 2002. I don't give a shit. Get the fuck out of here. There's no both sides in this circumstance. Why are narcos celebrating Lula winning? There's two different reasons. One, they're not. But two, if they are, like if they genuinely are, it's because they're poor. And they think that the favelas will be able to have food again. Because remember, some of the fucking narcos literally control entire territories, entire favelas that they take care of. They're people that they take care of. The video is most likely fake, though. Let's be real. There's no fucking shot. Someone was like, oh, this is all of our narcos that are, having so much fun because Lula is going to make crime legal or whatever. They do that every election. But yeah, narcos literally were maintaining COVID lockdown provisions inside of favelas when Bolsonaro wasn't. So if they are actually celebrating, they're probably celebrating that like it'll be easier to help some of their people survive now. Dude, this is so awesome. Anyway,
Presidents Macron, Biden, so many around the world were very swift to congratulate Lula and recognize his triumph as if they're welcoming Brazil back to the international community and giving credibility to this remarkable political comeback by Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva.
All right, Tim, we're going to let you head to bed. Thank you very much for staying up to bring us the latest on Brazil's election. That's France 24's Tim Vickery.
Truckers are blocking roads in 12 states and asking for a Bolsonaro-led coup. I love that. My brilliant truckers, baby. I'm standing in solidarity with my brilliant truckers, as always. The video is a commemoration of the victory from Flamengo, a soccer team that uses red and black on their shield. Thank God Bolsonaro's out, but you do know Lula is very corrupt, right? I do, and I like it. I love his corruption. I'm a fan. Bolsonaro, on the other hand, not corrupt. Lula, super corrupt. Yeah. Why was he let out of prison? Also because of corruption. Even more corruption. This time by Bolsonaro. Everyone's corrupt. Most Brazilians are brainwashed by media. They fucking witch hunt the hell out of PT, nonstop bashing on TV, radio, and internet. This is why most people come out and say stupid shit about Lula. His lawsuit was reversed because his judge was deemed biased. Moro was trained by the CIA. There's a lot of stuff about that on the internet. A lot of American chatters don't understand how corruption is endemic to the developing world, mostly through lobbying and kickbacks. It's mostly through lobbying and kickbacks or just selling assets to the state for peanuts for personal financial gain. Yeah. I don't know about Moro being trained by the CIA or whatever. That's Emma's main account, Lamau. She used the stock after you sniped it and came back on main. It was released due to formal mistakes. Doesn't add to his credibility. Brother, he has culpability within what his party was doing. Okay? He has culpability within what his party was doing, certainly. But the notion that he is like the singular force of corruption within his party is psychotic. Okay? The reason why he was let out is because what the association that they had with tying him to the petroleum company's bribery scandal was faulty at best. That's the reason why they fucking released him. And the prosecutors and the judge were openly colluding. Like, it's not like this is not out there, man. That's crazy. Like, Glenn Greenwald's last good work was this, okay? Investigating and uncovering the genuine open corruption between the judge and prosecution in the Lula arrest. Anyway, here, let's listen to Michael Brooks.
I'm not saying to talk necessarily about President Lula to average swing voters. That guy, but that being said, no, but honestly, you know what's funny is that I know people through covering him, a former president of Brazil and political prisoner, guys come up to me at live shows who are like, you know, I mean, look, they're into my show, so they're into politics, but they're definitely not part of any type of college, academic, whatever. That guy's cool. I follow him on Instagram. The pictures of him playing soccer are awesome. You read his interview, you watch my interview with him, he's talking about how people buy beer. I had a program so people could get, you know, buy a cup of coffee. When they buy coffee, they, you know, I'm not doing it justice, but he's speaking, and I think that's another thing. You're talking about somebody who rose up from being impoverished, illiterate metal worker who lost a finger, never went to college, and then became the most popular and effective president in Brazil's history, and is brilliant statesman. He wasn't trained in one of these institutions. Now, it's not black or white. Of course, people come out of these institutions who are great leadership, and we're not trying to demonize college, but no, don't embrace being part of a subculture, and make a distinction between substantive rights and commitments, which are non-negotiable, and cultural practices and preferences, which just reflect your cultural training and class position, have no substance, and are probably mostly annoying.
Since you mentioned Lula, so just so everyone knows, because I know not everyone studies Latin America, like Lula, as Michael said, was the president from 2002 to 2010, Brazil. As you said, widely considered one of the best, if not the best, most effective presidents in Brazil's history. But I was just curious to get.
Rest in peace to Michael Brooks. Gone too soon, unfortunately. Good friend of mine. He was a big Lula advocate, and luckily was able to interview him when Lula was released from prison.
Get your thoughts on the left swept to power in Latin America from the late 1990s through the first decade of the 2000s. And the left took different forms, and some commentators divided it into like the radical leftists, and Chavez sort of represented the radical leftists, and then the moderate leftists, and Lula was really kind of like the equivalent of Chavez on the other side. Like he was considered a very moderate leftist, and famously, wrote a letter to investors in the lead up to the 2002 election saying, "I'm not going to mess with, our relatively orthodox fiscal and monetary policy."
Right.
And he lifted a lot of people out of poverty, but that was through it wasn't by dismantling capitalist structures as much as it was skimming some wealth off the top and distributing a lot of it to the poorest 20%. So my question to you is what was your position on those debates? Because Lula drew some fire from people on the left in Brazil and international commentators for kind of selling out the PT's socialism of yesteryear, because it used to be a more radical left-wing.
Right. So I think that it's a dialectic, because I think on one hand, I have very little patience for, it kind of relates back to his question. Like, a lot of the critique that came against Lula was people who were not doing anything, right? Like, there was that element of, 40 million people are getting lifted out of poverty, but I don't like X, Y, and Z. Well, all these incredible accomplishments are happening, but I don't like X, Y, and Z. Now, I think I think he's objectively the best president of the 21st century, and I also think even just in terms of what he did on foreign policy, given Brazil is a mid-ranked country, is extraordinary. I obviously also think Chavez was a great president, absolutely. But I also think that the lesson, particularly of a place like Lula, should be very sobering for people on both sides of that equation. Because, like my friend Bhaskar Sunkara, who founded Jacobin, this dog is amazing. It is, hi!
Just doesn't care.
How you doing? That's why she's so cool. He said, he became a Marxist because of his conservative, he's like, by temperament, I wish that a social democratic model would work. But the way capitalism works, it never seems to be durable. So, yes, you had a presidency that lifted tens of millions out of poverty. The economy did great. Things worked very well. He acquiesced to all sorts of problems. I mean, he's been really upfront. He basically was like, look, by the time I was becoming president, I wanted to get rid of hunger in this country, period. And I was willing to negotiate other things. And he did. He got rid of hunger. So when you look at it and you see the success and you see the model that was created and the fact that there was still this backlash from the US foreign policy because they wouldn't privatize Petrobras, which is their state oil company, and you look at the wealthy in Brazil, who clearly, as Lula said to me in the interview, he said, poor people could fly when I became president. And you would hear people in Rio de Janeiro go, the airports look like bus stations. That level of social entitlement and resentment, as well as the fact that I don't know if that model, as again, the capitalist pie shrinks, is replicatable. Lula himself says, we were talking about Uber, he's like, yeah, it's a different set of challenges. I would be a more radical president today. And not because it's interesting, his instincts are really, he's a labor negotiator. He really believes in legit, you get everybody and you sit down and you figure it out. He said it, he's like, my politics are more like German labor, whatever. But it doesn't work. And then frankly, you look at Venezuela, which is a whole other thing, but I will just say, there's valid criticisms there, but there's also the fact that people repeat a lot of cliches that are not substantiated, and they also, if your prime concern is lifting people out of poverty, which is mine, they lifted millions out of poverty. And if I'm Maduro, and I'm getting sanctimonious lectures about my relationship with the military, I would say, but why is it somehow that I've still survived in power? even as the U.S. has tried to dislodge me every single day. And people like Lula and even Morales, this whole idea that Morales was some autocrat, ridiculous, knocked out. So Lula, it's a tremendous tragedy, because if there was even just a willingness for, you know, policymakers and capital to say Brazil can have a new deal, we could have a very nice model, but that apparently is not agreeable to them. So I don't like that the left moralized them and undermined their achievements and demanded, like, well, why isn't Lula doing what, you know,
By the way, this is at the foundation of like critical support. What he is doing here is like still maintaining the position that yes, a lot of these leaders are not infallible and they do a lot of fucked up things and a lot of morally unjust things. Not talking about Lula here, but definitely talking about Maduro. But ultimately, his power remains unchallenged because of the oppressive ways in which he has maintained his position of power. But then simultaneously pointing to the likes of Morales and Lula, people who definitely were not anywhere near using like autocratic power to control. Autocratic power to control, authoritarian power to control his population against multiple coup attempts and against like civilian uprisings. And look at where they're at now. Well, this is an old interview. Lula is now free and now the president. But yeah, that's kind of what happens. I'm Venezuelan and pro-Lula, but hearing someone be pro-Chavez and pro-Maduro is too tough. I don't think he's pro-Maduro necessarily. He's definitely unconditionally pro-Chavez, though. Yeah, the Lula thanking Brooks tweet. There you go. This year I met this young American, a journalist who turned out to be a friend who I thought that we would meet again. How is it possible? My heart and prayers go to his family and friends. May his passion for social justice be remembered and inspire people around the world. This is after Michael Brooks' untimely passing. Anyway. All right, Austin's heading out. Okay. We're going to move on to some more morbid news now. We're going to talk about South Korea.
The latest.
At least 153 were crushed to death in the South Korean crowd surge. We're going to talk about the mechanics of such a thing happening. The police are currently investigating. Austin has been the ET1, he says. ET1. The police are currently investigating as to why this happened, or how this happened, rather. Some of the preliminary investigations show that they were too preoccupied with traffic to recognize crowd control was a necessity. This, of course, happened during the Halloween. This happened basically during their Halloween celebrations.
However, on the tragedy in South Korea, more than 150 people were killed during a Halloween celebration, crushed to death in a narrow alleyway.
Now, questions about how everything got so out of control. Our chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, is there live in Seoul with more for us. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Robin. And to try to provide some answers to those questions, police say that they've gathered footage from 50 surveillance cameras from this alley and around here. But a short time ago, a police chief offering one possible cause to this crowd crush. He said there were only 137 officers on hand for 100.
Itaewon is like their America town area, and anytime something happens there, shit gets blamed on the U.S. Are you leaving? Here, you're speaking to the microphone if you want.
Bye, everybody. Happy Halloween.
Okay, well, there's...
What?
Don't say that during this news coverage.
Well, I mean...
Okay, Austin, Jesus.
Well, look, I'm not the one that had it on the screen.
Okay, bye, Austin.
Sad Halloween.
On his way out. On his way out, dude.
I didn't know what else.
Had to do it to him.
I didn't mean to... Of course it's tragic. I'm sorry. My timing.
Classic Austin timing.
All right.
Yet another classic certified Austin moment right there.
Yep. What are you, a chicken?
No, I'm a sheep.
Oh.
Oh,
sorry. I didn't.
I'm a communist sheep, brother. Right. Typical of commies. Typical of commie bastards. Also, how would I be a chicken? What chicken is fuzzy?
I don't know what a chicken
Have you never
looks like.
seen a chicken? Jesus Christ.
I grew up in the suburbs. I don't know what a chicken looks like.
Okay.
The only chicken I saw was nugget form.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a wonderful experience, Austin. Thank you.
Wonderful experience. I made the bed upstairs. I cleaned up. I did leave some boots behind, but I'm going to get them next time I'm here.
Okay. All right.
I left some boots and a few.
Wait, speaking to the microphone, and also answer this question. Are you going to stay here again, or what's up?
I will be back. I'll sometimes I'll go to my hotel because the bathroom lighting is fire and to take some good pictures. But I will be coming back to stay again. It's a 5-star. I'm rating it 5 stars.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be back. All right. Take care, everybody. I should also move to Los Angeles.
You should.
It's a wonderful city. And congratulations to Brazil. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
The radical left, folks, spreading their agenda worldwide. Not going to happen here, folks. Not going to happen. All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Peace. No, I did see some people being like, Koreans were celebrating Halloween, which is another indication of Western imperialism or whatever. And it's like, bro, that's like, there's plenty of things you can say about, American culture impacting Korea, obviously. But like, that's insane. This didn't happen because it was a Halloween celebration. This fucking happened because this didn't happen because it was a Halloween celebration. This happened because the police were not fucking moving crowds in the way that they were supposed to, okay? Like, that's wild. It's just, it's crowd mismanagement. Why, like, as much as I love shitting on America, like, this is not an instance where I think you can do that. Anyway, let's continue.
100,000 revelers. This morning, authorities investigating how a massive Halloween celebration turned into one of Korea's deadliest disasters. That crowd surge toppling revelers like dominoes. Those screams and those images, rows of civilians and medics frantically doing CPR. Authorities saying at least 154 were killed and 149 injured, and there are 2 Americans among the dead. Police this morning taking responsibility, saying there were only 137 officers on duty as about 100,000 partygoers began pouring out of subways and into the streets of the Itaewon neighborhood for Seoul's first major Halloween celebration since the pandemic. By 10 p.m., this alleyway becoming a deadly bottleneck. The partiers converged from both ends, from the street down here below and from up there, and that alleyway is just 14 feet wide. In the middle, they were all crossed. There was nowhere to go, and there was no one to control the crowd. American Janelle Story was trapped inside the crush.
Oh my God, oh my God. I just saw in front of me this mass of people running and pushing and screaming and like panicking.
She survived. John Mamajonov was there too. He came back to the scene this morning, describing the surge from behind, bending bodies forward.
Like folded forward? Yeah, forward. But like that? Yeah, like that. She was like that,
and she's saying like, help, help. And we get her hands, but we cannot get her body because it was so hard, because behind they are pushing upside on her.
Australian Nathan Tavernity's friend also killed.
I just was grabbing her hand saying, I'm gonna get you out. But then she disappeared.
Just after 10:30, first responders began wading in, pumping away at CPR, carrying away victims, many of them shoeless. In the coming hours, the dead placed into those blue body bags lining the street. And in hospitals, the howls of family members crumbling to the floor.
Jesus Christ.
Those two Americans now identified as Ann Giesk, a nursing student from the University of Kentucky, and Stephen Blessey, an exchange student from Kennesaw State University in Georgia.
For people who are wondering why do they cover like the Americans separately? It's just they always do that. Like every country will. If you've ever looked at foreign news, like in Turkey, if there was a Turkish person that was trampled there or a part of the stampede, they would cover it. It's just like, that's normal process. Every country does that when they talk about their own nationals.
Telling us that all of the fatalities happened in that alleyway behind us. The youngest was a child still in middle school, and you can see that crowd at the vigil behind me growing. A week of national mourning has been declared here. George.
So sad and horrifying. Okay, Matt, thanks very much.
Bing. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about with respect to this was how this kind of thing happens. Where was that video? Like, how do people die in crowds? During, like, how do people die in crowd crush? For people that don't understand, there was a mechanic. There was mechanics of it. What was it called? How crowds can kill you? How a human stampede really happens. It's an issue that's solvable through infrastructure. Are more cops really necessary? I think yes. This is one job that cops would absolutely do. Yeah. This is like one of those instances where like more cops are necessary. Because like their job is to do crowd control. This is like not an invasive and like they're not there to arrest people. They're there to make sure that people move. It's like how security works in crowds at concerts and shit. Yeah. The reason they're short-staffed and have been for months is because the president decided to abandon the Blue House's official workplace/resident in favor of Yongsan for no discernibly legitimate reason. And so the Yongsan police have been tasked with the security. I think this happened at the Hajj. This has happened many, many times. A good thread on what to do if you're ever caught in a crowd like this. Okay, we'll cover that as well. But here, how a human stampede really happens.
April 30th at 1 a.m., 45 people were killed and 150 more were injured in a stampede.
This was not a stampede, though. This was a crowd crush, right? Oh, here. This is the video I was looking for.
Hey there, and welcome to Brain Stuff. Welcome.
There's like multiple different ways crowds can kill you. Crowd crush is one. Stampede is one. There's another one.
I'm Josh Clark, and you are you, and that is wonderful. Let's talk about crowd crushes. So have you ever been standing in a crowd before? Say you were waiting.
Yeah, asphyxiation. Suffocation is usually how you die in a crowd crush. That's how that works.
For Weird Al to come out from backstage after a show, and then suddenly he does, and all of a sudden it seems like all the people around you multiply exponentially, and as far as you can see you're surrounded by people, and all of them start to press forward, and you, against your own will, are propelled forward, and you're pushed into the person in front of you, and you propel them forward, and you stop and think, uh-oh, Well, if you thought that, you were thinking very clearly, because you're in a very dangerous situation, something called a high-density crowd. A high-density crowd is one where there's 6 or more people per square meter, and it can get a lot more packed than that, but that's the lowest level threshold. And the reason that's the threshold is because when you have 6 people per square meter, individuals in the crowd start to lose their ability to move on their own accord. Things get more and more packed, and the crowd tends to behave a lot like a fluid. So there's a couple of ways that you can actually die in a high-density crowd. The first one's called a crowd crush. Now, when you first start to get to about 6 people per square meter, the individuals lose their ability to move around. The next step is that you lose your ability to move your arms from your sides.
Dude, the way he's describing it is so weird, like the tone he's using. An excellent visual explanation by The Guardian of what happened in Korea. See this chart in particular. A change from approximately 4 to 6 individuals per square meter changes us behaving like people to behaving like fluids. It's low risk if you have 2 people per square meter. It's high risk when the density goes up to 6 people per square meter. Bodies are jammed together so tightly they can no longer choose where they go, and they begin to behave like a fluid. Pressure waves can travel through them, and they lose control. I'm just saying his cadence. I know he just said that, but his cadence is like. Am I wrong? You don't think his cadence is kind of weird?
And as people pack in further and further, the pressure...
Especially with the fucking music, like goofy ass music. I mean, obviously he's not like covering this in the immediate aftermath of a crowd crush incident. So obviously there's no like emotional association with it. But like, it just sounds kind of trolly.
From all sides keeps your lungs from inflating and deflating, which means you lose your ability to breathe. What's amazing and horrific is that people suffocate in crowds because they're squeezed so tightly by the people pressing against them. That's a crowd crush. Another way you can die in a crowd is what's called progressive crowd collapse. So say you have a bunch of people crowded together in a high density crowd and one of them falls down. That creates a hole in this crowd, and the people who were formerly leaning against the person who just fell down start to fall over, and so on and so forth, and a domino effect is created. People start to pile up, and the ones on bottom are literally pressed to death by the humans who have piled up on top of them. So why don't people just get up and go? Get out of the crowd? Well, the short answer is they can't. One mark for humanity is that crowd researchers have shown that when individuals are...
Oh my God, it's verbatim this? You're covering this while dressed as a lamb? Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should stop casting stones from my glass house here.
Given information, say something like, oh, someone ahead is being crushed to death, they respond positively by, say, backing up and alleviating the pressure on the crowd in front. The problem is humans aren't ants. We don't transmit information through crowds like ants do, and so people end up dying in crowd crushes and progressive crowd collapses because the people in the back are pushing forward. Another common misconception are mass panics and stampedes. So there's this idea that people stampede over one another, and that's how deaths occur in crowd crushes. This is really off point. In fact, if you have enough room to run roughshod over your fellow humans to get from point A to point B, there's probably enough room for those fellow humans to get out of the way. So stampedes really don't cost any lives whatsoever. That's not the problem with crowd crushes. And the same with mass panics. Very rarely do entire crowds panic and move in a panicked way. In fact, you can suffocate in a crowd crush in a very calm crowd that's just entered a bottleneck in a narrow corridor and trying to get out of an exit. People just quietly die, pinned up against their fellow human beings who are leaving the place. So crowd researchers are using computers now to predict high-density crowds and stop them before they turn fatal. They're using video feeds fed into artificial intelligence which analyze crowds for things like increases in body heat or people swaying from side to side, which is a telltale sign that they're no longer moving on their own volition. So what do you do if you find yourself in a crowd? Well, get out. That's the best thing you can do. But as you're entering a crowd, crowd researchers suggest that you pay attention, stop talking, and listen ahead for people calling for help or saying move back or any other indication that there's a crowd crush going on. In that case, get back as far as you can. If you find yourself in a crowd and it starts to surge forward, follow the crowd movement, but move to the side as much as possible. Just stay out of crowds. How about that? If you ever
Yeah, there was a 360 because we live in 2022 in a hellish dystopia where everyone has a fucking phone. There are multiple angles and so much coverage over this, but there's literally like videos where you can see. I mean, this is not NSFW, but I still don't want to show it because it's like really fucking brutal. There are people live streaming it. Anyway, for a lot of people, it's probably super easy to avoid crowds, especially if you're on Twitch. But it's not easy to avoid the top of the hour ad break because that comes at the top of the hour. Well, actually, it is easy. You can avoid the ads at the top of the hour by subscribing for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. Or shout out to whoever gifted me a sub. Y'all are the true homie. That is another way you can avoid the ads. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Okay. We're gonna cover what to do in a crowd crush, an informational thread in light of the Itaewon Dawn Seoul tragedy. Even if you think this will never happen to you, taking a moment to learn what to do in this situation could save your life and lives of those around you. When you are entering a venue, make note of the exits. Number 1, if you're attending a concert or a large event, make sure you make note of where the emergency exits are when entering. Once it gets too crowded, the main exit might not be the most viable option. Number 2, learn how to watch crowd density. This may be the most important step in a thread. Once crowd density reaches 6 people per square meter or more, it becomes very dangerous. So the moment that you start realizing that you can't move your arms, okay, you're stuck. Understand where crowd crush happens. Most crowd crush deaths occur in small spaces such as alleyways and mosh pits. This is why it's best to leave venues early and not wait for things to get dangerous, since others may get the same idea and crush at the exit. Alert people. Since crowd crushes occur in loud environments, people outside the crush have no idea it's happening. If you're not at an organized event and notice a crowd crush, get up high. Alert security and event organizers to stop the music and make everyone aware. And make space around your chest. If you're stuck in a crowd and you feel density increasing, make space around your chest with your arms. Pinning your arms to your sides or above your head leaves your chest open to being compressed. That's often the way you die. Do not take off backpack. Your first instinct may be to make more space by removing a bulky backpack. This is a huge hazard. People being pushed into it may trip and in case have a pile up. Once the crowd reaches 8 to 9 people per square meter, those inside can't move freely and the crowd behaves like a liquid. This video is insane. I think it's from, is this from, look at this here. Look, I mean, this is perfect. You will feel yourself being moved in different directions, but it's important you don't fight it. The clip demonstrates one of these waves. How crazy is that? Do not scream and push. If you begin acting panicked, hostile, and inconsiderate of those around you, it will become contagious. In this situation, pushing one person can lead to a horrible chain reaction. Again, staying calm and moving with the crowd is the safest choice. Do not fall. This is pretty intuitive, but it's important and must be emphasized. Your top priority once the crowd crush starts is staying upright. Once you fall down, people will fall on top of you or climb you. You won't be able to get back up. And if you fall, people will trip on you. They'll fall as well. And also, they might end up stepping on you too. It makes it easier for you to suffocate under as well. Avoid walls. Most people who asphyxiate in crowd crushes are pushed against solid objects like floors, barriers, fences, or walls. Do your best to avoid becoming trapped against the wall or even back of someone trapped against the wall to increase your chances of survival. Help your neighbors only if you can. Assess the risk first. If someone is slipping down and you're in a position to help them, you should. But if you're unable and someone is yanking on you to try to get up, it could result in both of you falling. Bro, disabled people are fucked. Yeah, of course. But I think if you're a disabled person, you know that already in situations like this. And that's precisely why there's always like a separate area if hopefully they're complying with like ADA hopefully the venue is engaging in ADA compliance. Like, yes, if you're a disabled person, do not engage in the mosh pit, I think. Aftermath, when the crowd thins, there may be people on the floor. Since these things usually result from a lack of event planning, there might not have been enough medical personnel to help right away. In this case, volunteers save lives. The next part's about how to do CPR and when to provide it. I'm going to skip that part. And we're going to move on from this. But basically, before we move on to Paul Pelosi and the new chapter in the Paul Pelosi saga, okay? There was another bridge. The Morbi Bridge collapsed, which left dozens in India dead. This bridge was recently renovated by, you might be surprised to find this out, a private company. That's crazy. Now the death toll is raised to hundreds, I think.
Now, at least 141 people have died following the collapse of a footbridge in western India, according to local police. Hundreds were thought to have been on the bridge in Morbi in Gujarat when it went down, plunging them into a river. The bridge was only reopened last week after extensive renovations. Our South Asia correspondent Yugita Lamai reports.
Moments after the collapse, survivors try to clamber up what remains of the footbridge. At this
these are survivors who are alive.
Popular spot in the western town of Morbi, families were out together at the end of a week of holidays for Diwali festivities. Locals were the first to respond, helping pull people out. Some even swimming out to rescue those stuck in the middle of the river. At one of the banks, people tried to form a human chain to reach as many as they could. The bridge, built in the 19th century, was closed for renovation for 6 months, reopened less than a week ago. Schools were off, and so lots of people were here along with their children. The bridge collapsed because of overcrowding, Sukram, an eyewitness, said. At the hospital, a steady stream of the injured were brought in. This is Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home state.
Yeah.
And his party is in power here. He announced compensation for those who've been affected.
Fuck the compensation beyond that. Like, that is the least you can do. But maybe jail the fucking guys who made this bridge. I'm just saying. Like, yeah, the compensation is good, but like, how about jail time for the people that claim to have renovated this bridge successfully? 9 have been arrested. Oh shit, nice. Bridges are usually designed so we can hold more people that can physically stand on it. People definitely cut corners. Okay, new information has come out. Indian police have filed homicide charges and arrest 9 as the bridge toll passes 134. New Delhi, Indian officials filed homicide charges against the operators of a suspension bridge and arrested 9 people after at least 134 have died when the recently renovated footbridge collapsed, sending tourists plunging into the Machuchu, did I say it right? Machuchu? I don't know how to say it. River in western Gujarat state. In addition to the dead, there are still a number of people missing as of midday Monday. Anyone get arrested when the PA bridge collapsed? Well, people didn't die when the PA bridge collapsed, right? Also, that's America. We don't arrest. Remember when that happened in Miami, in Florida? That happens all the time. In America, our bridges collapse all the fucking time. No one gets arrested for that usually because, those are rich people. Even if people do die, sometimes. Or even if someone does get arrested, it's usually not the person that is, cutting the corners. It was a suspension bridge, 142 years old, got overcrowded by 400 people because greedy motherfuckers let more people in for ticket money. In addition to the dead, there are still a number of people missing. The accident took place in Morbi, a riverside town known for its Victorian-era bridge and old town, and came amid a holiday rush. Tourists have been celebrating Diwali, as well as the Gujarati New Year, which fell this year on October 26th. This dude said, our bridges are 1,000 years old. America? What, you think the indigenous population built the bridges here? Like, what's happening? No, man. Like, maximum is like a couple hundred maximum. Ten years after bridge collapse, America is still crumbling. 10 years ago, the Interstate 35th West Bridge over the Mississippi River in downtown Minneapolis collapsed, sending cars, trucks, and even a school bus that were crawling over it into bumper-to-bumper rush hour traffic plummeting into the river below the rocky shore. 13 people were killed, 145 were injured, many of them seriously. The bridge collapse sparked immediate calls in Minnesota and across the country. Invest big in repairing and replacing the nation's aging and crumbling infrastructure. A decade later, experts say there have been some improvements, but there are still tens of thousands of bridges nationwide that need to be fixed or replaced. In the immediate aftermath of the 35 West Bridge collapse, the Minnesota Department of Transportation came under intense scrutiny. Oldest bridge in America is 273 years old. The Interstate Highway Bridge had been classified as structurally deficient, meaning that it was aging and in need of repair. In fact, some repair work was going on when it fell. The bridge was also rated as a fracture critical, meaning the failure of just one vital component could cause the whole bridge to collapse. And it happened. But in fact, neither of those classifications means the bridge is necessarily dangerous. And the National Transportation Safety Board determined that it was a design flaw and not deferred maintenance, neglect, or other problems that caused the 35 West Bridge to collapse. Gusset plates that hold the bridge's huge steel beams together were only half as thick as they should have been. Corner cutting. The NTSB also found that nearly 300 tons of construction equipment and materials stockpiled in the bridge deck for the ongoing repair work contributed to the collapse by further stressing the crucial gusset plate that failed. The design flaw was that the bridge wasn't bridging, as bridges are known to do. Oh, we're going to cover the affirmative action shit. Don't worry. Just tuned in and literally thought you were talking about the bridge collapse in India. Guess our infrastructure isn't much better. No, I was talking about the bridge collapse in India. And then I moved on from the, Victorian era bridge that was recently supposed to be repaired that wasn't repaired adequately and had far too many people on it to America's bridges and our shitty crumbling infrastructure because I'm an American. One of America's founding reasons we have liability comes directly from Pennsylvania with the lowering of a dam by Henry Clay Frick and Andrew Carnegie. From the video, it looks like people were on the bridge and messing around and shaking it intentionally. Regardless, dude, like, what do you mean? What is personal responsibility in a situation where it's a matter of, where it is literally a matter of people in positions of power allowing it to happen is always going to fall on the system, okay? Please stop being a fucking libertarian cuck. Stop. If that fucking bridge wasn't overcrowded by hundreds, they could be able to shake it and not break it. If that bridge was built adequately to withstand people walking over it, it still wouldn't have snapped, and also it wouldn't have collapsed, regardless of how many people were on it or regardless of how much they were swinging. Also, you're talking about a drawbridge. Like, yeah, it swings, dummy. Those bridges are supposed to. They should or suspension bridge. Sorry, they should be they should not be collapsing even if people are jumping. That's a design flaw. Yeah. Bro, how do you look at a fucking bridge snapping and you go, "Oh man, how do I blame it on the fucking personal responsibility?" There's 400 people there. You think they're all fucking shaking it on purpose? Or do you think some of them are on there and they have no control over the shaking? We just looked at crowd crush. We just looked at crowd crush that occurred in South Korea, in Seoul, okay? Why did that happen? I told you why it happened. It's like tight fucking corners and not having enough people do crowd control, not having enough security. You can't blame the individuals in that situation. Half of them don't even know that it's happening while it's happening. That's instances like this are probably the best example that you can use for why governments need to exist and how a good government is supposed to overcome problems like this. Okay? This is perhaps the greatest example of why we need like zoning and ordinance laws, like all these kinds of different rules and regulations that capital owners consider to be a part of the nanny state that's hurting profits, okay? That's why you need it. You can't expect humans to fucking behave in a normal capacity. Behave as like perfectly rational actors, especially when crowds turn into fluid after a certain level of crowd density. All right, we got to move on to some funnier news, though. Okay. Hold on. Before we move on to funnier news about Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to go pee. So let's look at the CBS News Battleground Tracker, okay?
How the midterms might unfold. Let's bring in Anthony Salvanto with our newest Battleground Tracker poll. Anthony, good morning. How's it looking?
All right, so we find, after talking to voters across all these districts, put it in the model, Republicans at 228 seats. That's a slight majority there. But Ed was talking about turnout. Let me show you specifically why that's so important, because we can run some scenarios off of this. Now, for Democrats, if they get bigger turnout, if they get specifically more turnout among younger voters, they have a chance, see this little bit of a swing back here, to maybe hold the House by a seat or two. You see it gets to about even. That's why it's so important for them. But Republicans have been the ones telling us they're more motivated, they're more enthusiastic. If I put that in the model, watch that in the middle, it gets a little bit of a bigger majority for Republicans. They go up to 238. Should that happen? That's the range of possibilities.
So best case scenario for Democrats then is even if young people turn out. If Republicans turn out, they've got a pretty commanding lead there. What's motivating voters here in the final days?
Well, let me show you this. The party's closing arguments are really between democracy and economy. The Democrats arguing there's threats to democracy. The Republicans saying focus on the economy because folks think it's bad. So look at this. We ask people, what concerns you more? Having a functioning democracy, having a strong economy. And it's pretty split. Yeah. But look at the vote splits on this, Tony. When you see the folks who prioritize functioning democracy, they're voting for Democrats. That's their message. Folks who prioritize a strong economy, they're voting Republican. That's theirs.
Yeah. Although, of course, we would hope, and you didn't give.
This is such a funny dichotomy that it does not need to exist. Like, what do you mean, folks who prioritize a functioning democracy? Like, I get that Republicans are trying to fucking undermine, like, the last vestige of a dying American liberal capitalist democracy, right? By making it so that it's, like, pretty much illegal to vote as, like, a poor person as a Democrat, you know? But it's just such a weird, like, oh, man, people are really voting for the economy. That's why they're voting for the Republicans. Like, I hate that we have just ceded so much ground. And like 90% of the reason that Democrats in their first term have a completely fucked economy is because of the doings of the prior 2 years. This happened with Obama. It's happening with Biden. It's always the same. Republicans come in, okay? They literally come in. They get the keys to a sweet, nice, mint condition, working fucking Honda Civic, and they beat it to the goddamn ground, and then they pass it off. They beat it so hard that eventually people are like, okay, fuck this. Like, we need someone else to drive this goddamn car. And then they give it to the Democrats, and the Democrats are now left with this fucking Honda Civic that is busted as fuck, and they spent 2 years trying to fix it. And during that process, there's literally so much struggle as a consequence of that. People think the economy just turns like this on a dime. It's so stupid. And then they barely fix it by the end of the fucking 8-year term. But throughout that entire time, people are like, dude, look at the Democrats, man. Look at how bad they are. This metaphor might be falling apart. No, what's falling apart is the fucking Honda Civic. It's gone. It's done. Now, of course, Democrats aren't great on the economy either. They're just better than the Republicans are. That's it. Like, I'm not in any meaningful sense of the word saying that Democrats are good, okay? Their recovery is also done within a capitalist framework. Their recovery also is dog shit. Their recovery efforts are also still very much anti-labor, anti-worker, anti-poor. And then you fucking turn it, and then you turn it over to the Republicans to beat and bully the fucking economy to the ground further. For the record, the reason why I said Democrats are better than Republicans is because they at least operate within the framework of capitalism. Republicans don't. Republicans operate on the framework of just like as much tax cuts as we can, as much deregulation as we can. At least like if we're going to talk about genuine austerity and genuine dick riders for the fucking deficit, it's not the Republicans. They love complaining about the deficit all over and over and over again. But you know who the actual fucking dick riders for the deficit are? The budget hawks. They're the fucking Democrats. They're stupid as fuck for doing that, by the way. But they are literally the actual deficit dogs. I mean, Nancy Pelosi herself passed PAYGO. There was no need to do that. Why would you cuck your own entire fucking... Why would you cuck your own possible policy future if you ever get, the reins of Congress once again, and you just built in an idea that it needs to fucking pay for itself. Every piece of legislation that Democrats are going to pass, which has to do deficit spending, can't do deficit spending now. That's crazy. It's just a way to literally make sure that you have neutralized any initiative you could ever push for. You are doing IMF-style neoliberal austerity to your own fucking countrymen, okay? Meanwhile, not a single Republican has ever cared about the deficit when they're in positions of power, and Americans are too stupid to recognize that the deficit is completely fucking meaningless, especially when it comes to tax cuts for the wealthy. Every American rides or dies for the estate tax. Every American rides or dies for the tax cut for the wealthy. The estate tax is not touching you, okay? It's never going to touch you. You're poor. You're broke. Your father is broke. Your mother is broke in comparison to people who actually do get hit with the estate tax. You will never touch it. You're too broke. But because you're brain broken by fucking capitalist agitated propaganda, that you have been told this lie. You think it's actually coming for you. You think the government's going to take your fucking busted ass Honda Civic that your mom passed down to you. You fucking idiot. That's not going to happen. This idea that like Republicans are better on the economy has been built into our brains now because they usually are reigning control over an economy that is doing better because of 4 to 8 years of Democrats doing their very best to balance the budget, I guess. Not even balance the budget, but to just like fix it as best as they can. One of the funniest things that the Republicans did under Donald Trump was when they pushed for tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations. They lowered the corporate tax rate. They lowered the top marginal tax rate, right? They did that. Those were permanent. You know what wasn't permanent? The middle class taxes. Middle class tax cuts have already gone back up, you fucking dumbasses. It's literally built into the way that they operate. They openly show their resentment for the middle class or the working class in general all the time. Yeah. I bet you didn't know that, did you? A lot of your dumb fucking Republican friends don't even realize that they're paying literally Obama-era taxes again. You know who's not paying Obama-era taxes? Me. Well, I'm in California, so I'm a little bit different. I'm paying a lot more taxes than anyone else. But that's the truth. It's the truth. Anyway, Biden will ask Congress to consider tax penalties and other restrictions on gas and oil companies that either don't lower prices or provide their record profits for the American people per the White House. That's awesome. That is sexy as fuck. Love that. Oh my God. That gets my dick hard. I love that. What is this? The contrast between Bernie Sanders' politics and the trajectory of stars of the Bernie Twitter is really something. If you don't think it's funny that the movie Black Adam drove a middle-aged man who writes in internet baby talk around the bend enough to brain Nancy Pelosi's crooked husband with a hammer, I just can't relate to you. We need to be talking more about this assassination attempt. Agreed. We should be talking, thinking, and most importantly, posting about how funny it is. I mean, it is funny. It's funny as fuck. At a certain point, you have to realize, like, Maddie, that the world is so deeply fucked, okay? So all you can do is laugh. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Especially because, like, nobody died. You know what I mean? You're laughing at how tragic our circumstances are, okay? That, like, every time... First of all, we rarely ever get, like, attempted political assassinations, okay? We rarely ever get attempted political assassinations here in America. It's always, like, dumb motherfuckers who, like, think, you know, they're the girl that said no to them or their coworker that, like, made fun of them is the reason for why they're feeling so much pain and struggle. And then they just, like, unleash upon their parents, their moms and dads, or random girls in their vicinity, random women in their vicinity. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucked up. So, like, political assassinations, even attempted ones, are unique. Okay? But, of course, in America, it still has to happen in the most American way possible. Like, the Shinzo Abe one is literally, it was, like, calculated. There was a specific reason for it. It was probably the most successful political assassination of our lifetimes, where, like, Japanese citizens unironically turned on Shinzo Abe. I've never actually seen anything like it, straight up. They literally turned on Shinzo Abe. They were like, this incel guy, this military guy, we are so on board with him. The overwhelming majority of the Japanese population, well, not overwhelming, but the majority of the Japanese population looked at a guy who made a fucking Fallout 3 style blunderbuss in his home and assassinated Shinzo Abe and said, that guy was right to do that. We don't like that Shinzo Abe was actually, had ties to this fucking psycho Korean cult church. You know? And we certainly do not appreciate that the Japanese government is using our tax dollars to fucking fund a state-sponsored funeral. They said that. Shinzo Abe's killer made no manifesto, no final post. He just went and did it, and people understood him through collective psychic osmosis. Now that happened, In America, on the other hand, you got a dumb baby-brained idiot who's like angry at like white men not having enough power or whatever. So he goes and like tries to kill Nancy Pelosi. Like that's gonna fucking change anything. And fails to do so and can't even kill an 84-year-old man. I'm sorry, I'm going to laugh at that. If you're a fucking 42-year-old fail son who spends every fucking waking moment on the internet documenting every idiotic thought he's ever had to an audience of like 4 other equally brain-broken Nazi dickheads, and then you fail to kill an 84-year-old man, I'm sorry, that's such a fucking L. That is the biggest fucking L, dude. And the funniest part about this shit is always like, you go out and you put yourself out there and you fucking practice what you preach and you literally are like, I'm going to kill fucking Nancy Pelosi. You do that. Every other person that was in your same Discord circles, in your same forums, is going to turn around and go, oh, dude, that guy was a gay idiot, actually. He's not one of us. Like, that's what happens every time. Stop doing it. Okay? They literally did that with the fucking, they even did that with the FBI guy. They immediately, you could literally be like, I wrote a manifesto perfectly detailing exactly what my motivations are. You could be screaming what your motivations are, and every single dumb motherfucker that was talking to you even last week that is exactly like you, that believes in the exact same things to this day, will turn around and be like, nah, that guy, he was gay. He was so gay, it's a psyop. It's a homosexual psyop, dude. He was actually a gay pedophile and very different than me. So if you are in one of those circles, if you're in here as a fucking hate watcher, if you're like, you know, excited at the opportunity of like coming in and owning me or whatever, because like whatever fucking forum that you came from has geared you towards hating on me, remember, you do some shit like that, everyone's going to turn around and be like, dude, you're such a fucking gay loser. You're wrong. Actually, you're not one of us. Now, the hilarious part is that they're basically trying to fucking say that this guy wasn't some right-wing loser. Okay? Which is pretty funny because he 100% was, and he openly wrote about it nonstop because as we all know, right-wing losers can't shut the fuck up. I was told he had a pride flag and BLM sign. No, that's not true at all. Brother, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. Okay? I am geared to hate you. You are. They're lying to you. He might have been gay, but that doesn't change the reality. I don't know if he was actually gay or not. He was definitely a cuck, though. But, like, you're so fucking dumb if you think that this guy was hiding any of his motivations. He's too stupid to do so. He wasn't killed. No, he's still alive. We're going to talk about he openly stated his motivation, guys. Not a hate watcher, just don't want one side. Yeah, well, here, I'll give you the side of the truth, okay? This guy, in the early Berkeley days, was like hanging out with a bunch of fucking nudists. A lot of these hippies are reactionary. What that means is they're like, usually, they're just contrarian. They're like, oh, fuck the government, man. But like, they don't have any sort of consistently held principled beliefs, okay? So those contrarians, especially granola hippies, the ones that are like also anti-vaxxer and like believe in like holistic or believe in like don't believe in modern medicine, shit like that. A lot of those guys have a tendency to turn on a dime and immediately become like weird psychotic right-wingers. That happened to this guy back in the fucking day. Okay, he used to make hemp bracelets and you know, lived in a fucking house full of like nudists and shit. All right. But very clearly, around the era of Gamergate, luckily because he can't shut the fuck up, he wrote about all of his opinions extensively, including what radicalized him. During the Gamergate era, he got, quote-unquote, red-pilled, like many of you in this community, as a matter of fact, who luckily have, you know, changed their minds. He got red-pilled and then fell deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, becoming super radicalized during the QAnon, during the highest stage of QAnon. Okay? That is the reason why he fucking ran around and tried to kill Nancy Pelosi. I am not a centrist. I am far right. Okay, well, so yeah, he was a loser just like you. But I'm telling you right now, you don't have to be a fucking loser. Okay? You can change your mind. You can recognize that like a lot of the circles that you engage in are basically just fucking filling your brain with dumb bullshit. Okay? Stop being a loser today with this one simple trick. Stop going to the fucking same Discord servers. Stop going to the same fucking forums where they're just basically shoving the same dumbass propaganda that your stupid fucking grandparents believe on Facebook. It's literally repackaging the exact same propaganda that your dumbass grandparents believe in. It's not disruptive. It's not cool. It's not unique. It's just the same dumb bullshit. And you're motivated to believe in it because you grew up in that bullshit. I used to be one of these losers who watched those TYT crying compilations. Thanks for dragging me out, Hassan. No problem. Anyway. So there was a lot of, let's look at the right-wing conspiracies because I'm not done with it. Immediately, one of the things that they did was, despite the fact that this guy straight up fucking was like, I am trying to find Nancy Pelosi and kill Nancy Pelosi, okay? He said it. And he had zip ties with him as well. Apparently, he was trying to kill Nancy Pelosi, right? That was his goal. This guy who has talked about like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories on his blog, he talked about his radicalization on his blog, he talked about how Black Adam was too woke or whatever the fuck, okay? Sorry, he didn't want to kill her. He wanted to just kneecap her. Regardless. Okay, he's looking for Nancy Pelosi. He openly states it. He's a right-winger. He's a right-wing QAnon believer who is out of his fucking mind. He finds Nancy Pelosi's home address. He goes there. She's not there. Okay? He fails to kill Paul Pelosi, who calls 911, and then cops come in and they basically watch this 42-year-old groiper, which is the saddest thing you can be, literally just 42 years old talking like a baby on the internet with other fucking 42-year-olds. Jesus Christ, what a loser. Anyway, fails to kill 84-year-old Paul Pelosi, okay? Fractures his skull with a hammer. Cops watch this happen. They arrest his ass. And Republicans, conspiracy theorists immediately were like, oh, no, dog, that's not our guy. Nancy Pelosi's husband is gay, actually. The guy basically fucking said everything. He openly stated what his motivation was. He has openly stated his radicalization journey. And it is wild. It is fucking wild that people are still like, nah, don't look at any of the stuff he wrote, actually. That's a psyop. He's actually gay. He was gay with Paul Pelosi. Wait, that's what they're saying? I thought the gay thing was just a joke? No, unironically, a fuckload of people looked at a situation that was super black and white, super clear cut, you know? It's an open and shut case. The easiest one that you can arrive at. He was too stupid to hide his motivations. He just very openly thought he was going to be considered a fucking hero. Now, it wasn't just the regular old right-wingers like Charlie Kirk and whatnot. Elon Musk also used a conspiracy website called the Santa Monica Observer that, you know, anyone with more than 3.5 brain cells would recognize as like a psychotic, non-reputable source of information. And responded to Hillary Clinton stating, you know, there's actually some credible evidence to the whole Paul Pelosi and this guy were gay together idea. Okay? And then everybody owned him immediately because he is now the chief twit, as he's called himself. Here, where is that? Does anyone have the Elon Musk tweet? He straight up replied to Hillary Clinton with it. Why did you just post, why am I still sad? Why did you just send me that? I know he deleted it, but there's a screenshot of it. Okay, here it is. Here. 3 days into his purchase of Twitter, Chief Twit Elon Musk has already started promoting QAnon-level conspiracy theories. Today, he tried to blame the far-right assassination attempt on Nancy Pelosi and the assault of her husband on a secret gay lover. Here is Hillary Clinton saying the Republican Party and its mouthpieces now regularly spread hate and deranged conspiracy theories. It is shocking, but not surprising. The violence is the result. As citizens, we must hold them accountable for their words and the actions that follow. Elon Musk goes, there's a tiny bit of possibility that there might be more to the story than meets the eye. The story is, this is the article. As SF's gay bars closed at 2 a.m., 2 gay men met in a bar and went home together. Happens all the time, except one of the 2 men was married to the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. I might disappear for telling you the truth. If you do, you'll all know why. If I do, you'll all know why. But here's what really happened this morning in San Francisco. This is the most Facebook article you could arrive at. And this dumb motherfucker who now controls the public town square, Twitter, bought it for $44 billion, literally posted it and kept it up for a while. Okay? And then he got owned, so he quietly deleted it. Then the New York Times wrote an article about it saying Elon Musk in a tweet shares link from site known to publish false news. Some of the news that site had published stated that Hillary Clinton actually died on 9/11. By the way, the website that Elon Musk posted under Hillary Clinton's Twitter is a website that was a Hillary Clinton truther that claims that Hillary Clinton there's a replacement Hillary Clinton because Hillary Clinton had died on 9/11. At the 9/11 memorial, remember? When she was like sick or had like a seizure or some shit. Anyway, so, which by the way, I do want to believe that. It's pretty funny. So Elon Musk goes, this is fake. I did not tweet a link to the New York Times. Okay. Epically owned. Okay. Epically owned. 634,000 likes. New York Times is epically owned. Okay. He is so funny. So much goofs. So many gaffes. Okay. Epic memes are on fire. Okay. If you want to hear fucking rehashed 9gag memes, unironically, Elon Musk is your go-to one-stop shop. So glad that he paid $44 billion so he could do this epic ownage. work now, I think. I don't know why it's not working. There's something wrong with my camera chat where like it just keeps fucking up. I don't know what it is. Like I have enough bit rate, but I think it should be fine now. But the issue is like the camera keeps shutting off. Some of the issues happened during TwitchCon as well. If you remember, it was like the no memory card detector shit. You can park on the street here too. If
on
you
these
find
alleys or what?
No.
My friend's on this store. I might be able to.
That's a flex. This has been the flex hour with 24K gold.
Welcome to the flex hour, the golden hour.
Yeah.
Where I'll nonchalantly say things and make you question if you made the right decision in your life.
Yeah. Whoa. You just drove over a bottle.
Yeah, hopefully don't fuck my shit up. Nah, these tires are indestructible.
Yeah.
But if
I wonder,
you fuck it up, you gotta buy 4.
Yeah. I wonder if this car is better than your car, Austin. Probably.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It is?
Which whip been in Austin? I have an X5M. Ooh. Them bitches are hella fast, right? Yeah. This may be... Hey. Hey. Relax, bro. They act like there's nobody nobody, you're the only person... I'm just illegally park here.
No, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I guess we're not going to be here for too long.
Nah, you're right. It's just kind of like narrow. Let's go check out more.
Yeah.
No.
That's a spot. That's definitely a spot. It's post 6 p.m.
True.
That's a spot. Yes, sir.
We're in there.
Okay. All right, we're here.
Oh shit! There's a scooter under the line. Oh yeah. Careful.
Austin also has the capacity to break shit too, even when he's not.
Let me just ditch one of these limes here. Hold on.
Even when he's not. Oh god damn, bro! You guys. Okay, it should be fine now. Yeah, there's audio now. Except, but this in this mode, the camera just shuts off on its own. I don't know why. So, we'll see. If it keeps shutting down, I'm just gonna end it and go fucking shopping like a normal person. Oh. They have a lot of fucking stuff here, it seems. Okay. Let's do it. Let's try it.
The music is really fitting too. It's like shopping spree.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in like a coming of age. 2000s, like set in Latin America.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some cowboy stuff. I'm in the right spot.
There you go.
I already have the top piece. Should I get a jacket too? The fringe jacket is on.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be hot as fuck though. Yeah, that's next up.
Oh my god, dude. There's a lot of stuff you can get here, Austin.
What?
There's a lot of stuff you can get here. Pants too.
Jacket or no?
What?
Should I get a jacket too?
It's up to you. I don't know. These are sick in general, right?
They hella flare too. Bell bottoms as fuck.
Austin, you need these. These are something that you need. That's cowboy as fuck.
You think this would? They have a fitting room? I think the pattern is too intricate though for the. That's what I'm saying. Like it just needs to be solid, right? Yeah, I'm looking for a bell bottom right now. I mean, this is kind of cowboy right here.
Holy fuck, bro. They got vests out the ass here. Hasanabi collection coming soon. Austin, you can be a working man for the first time in your life.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Okay,
get a job, bro. Get a job.
I held a job for a solid year.
Well, I
was a waiter
I
over
don't
2
believe that.
summers. They even brought me back for a second summer. Then I got fired.
What the
These
fuck?
are sick.
Bro, there's like, what the fuck? San Joaquin Valley Corrections Officer Program?
That's crazy. Rick Ross shit.
I was just thinking that.
Are these women's pants?
Bro, am I crazy? I feel like a lot of the stuff here isn't just like it's good for it's just good for regular wear too. Like those pants fucking slap, dude. Golden, this is like your closet.
Hellcat.
Ugh. So sick, bro. So sick.
I'm about to get so distracted. I need booty shorts.
Bro, I just want to buy now I just want to buy stuff that I would normally wear. Oh my god, like these, bro. What the fuck?
Nah. That's Hasanabi core. I could just be a construction worker. You gonna bail on a cowboy? No, I gotta commit to it.
No, I'm going cowboy too. I just need holsters. Do they have like holsters here?
I'm gonna grab these jean shorts real quick. They need to be solid.
I mean, if all else fails, you got that, is what I'm saying. Can you steal Valor in this? Do it.
You can also do like brown flared pants. Those might be
Yeah, 100%. If you find anything flared that's like
with the
straight
color
brown,
with the color that I have now.
Yeah.
It's giving like a sheriff vibe. Yeah. You go brown.
Yeah, the sheriff a dick sucking. What's up, boys?
Ultimate munch.
What's up, boys? There's a new sheriff in town.
70s poly pants.
Wait, oh, is this a Taekwondo fucking gi?
Yeah.
Oh, this is Steven Seagal right here, but he doesn't do Taekwondo. He does. I don't think he's ever been able to put himself in this position. You know who Steven Seagal is?
He's like the kind of washed actor,
Yeah.
action star. Doesn't
Wait,
he
this
do
is
a
it. This
bunch
is
of
it.
crazy shit. now?
Bro, this is it. This is flared, right?
That's
Awesome.
pink though. It's like a salmon. Not really.
Still pretty good.
Yeah. It's the right fit, not the right color.
Hey, yo.
I think oh my god. What do you think? Now this is bottle girl shorts out here.
That's munch shit right there. Bro, that's insane.
God, maybe I should ditch what I have and then just
That's
put